Chapter 1670. Fiendish Demon Battlefield. Yi Zifeng said softly, I know. Before you came, I already told the sect master about this. At that time, the Purple Flame sect will have a spot for you. However, Xiao Chan thought to himself, this senior brother is really thoughtful. Before I even said anything, he already took care of this matter in advance. However, what is it? However, don't overthink it. With your strength, you are not at the peak of the entire Black Cave Mountain. In the 3 blessed lands, the gap is even greater. You are not on the same level as the top 10 true inheritors. Yi Zifeng's words were already very tactful. If it were someone else, they would have been much more direct. With your strength, don't overthink it. Just go in and play. That was the general gist of it. When Xiao Chen heard that, he was stunned. However, this was the truth. After all, every sect had true inheritors. True inheritors were not like Ling Yu and Feng Yu, who had high talent, but mediocre cultivation. Instead, true inheritors were at least major primal core cultivators. In the outside world, any true inheritor could rival a rank 3 sect elder like Elder Tang. The peak true inheritors might not be much weaker than the Iron Hand Yama. There was no helping it. They had high talent, abundant resources, strong bloodlines, and high cultivations. They were at the peak in every aspect. All in all, their combat prowess would naturally be terrifyingly high. If you want to gain something, you need to break through to the primal core realm. However, I don't think you can break through this bottleneck quickly. Personally, I do not recommend forcefully breaking through. There is no need to waste your future for a fiendish demon battlefield. Yi Zifeng's suggestion was very far-sighted. If one forcefully broke through, they would not be able to fully unleash the strong foundation that they laid in the veritable essence stage. Using short-term benefits in exchange for long-term benefits was indeed not very wise. After gaining Yi Zifeng's opinion, Xiao Chen's originally somewhat restless heart about the fiendish demon battlefield slowly calmed down. Compared to his senior brother, Xiao Chen's mentality is still somewhat lacking. Many thanks for senior brother's advice. Otherwise, I really would not know when I would be able to calm down, Xiao Chen said sincerely with a cupped fist salute. Yi Zifeng smiled warmly. How unfortunate. If you were born earlier, Master would definitely like you a lot. When I was your age, I couldn't see through it. There was a hint of guilt in his eyes. When he was young, he seemed to have done something impulsive. Xiao Chen didn't want to ask too much, so he changed the topic. Senior brother, is Master still alive? At the mention of Pan Huang, Yi Zifeng revealed a smile. Master opened his 9 acupoints many years ago, opening 9 divine veins in his body. His physical body is already immortal, reaching an undying body. If there are no accidents, he can live for a very, very long time, so long that he can't live any longer. But with Master's personality, it's hard to say. Xiao Chen had heard from a Jiao snake that Pan Huang naturally liked to take risks and was restless and calm. He liked to go to the most dangerous, forbidden areas. The places he went to were definitely forbidden areas that could threaten his life. It was hard to say whether he would be able to survive until now. Yi Zifeng waved his hand, and a string of Buddhist beads and a bottle of medicinal pills floated toward Xiao Chen. This is, Xiao Chen said, feeling doubtful. Yi Zifeng said softly, previously when I stood guard for you, I discovered that you already started to practice the Buddhist sect's profound grade saber technique, the Mamaya abstinence violation saber technique. You even comprehended the saber's true meaning. With this saber technique, I don't need to give you the secret manual of the saber. When I visited the Hidden Spirit Temple in the past, an esteemed monk who condensed a bodhisattva gave me this Buddhist bead. I believe it will be of some help to you. There's also a bottle of Purple Cloud Pill, a medicinal pill for treating injuries. I refined it in my free time. Although we do not purposely go to the fiendish demon battlefield, we still have to snatch the fortuitous encounters that we should. After all, it is a remnant that a divine vein powerhouse left behind. If not for the fact that senior brother cannot enter, even I would be interested in it, much less those true inheritors. Xiao Chen rejoiced in his heart. This senior brother of his was really good. The most important thing was that Xiao Chen had heard from Ling Yu that Yi Zifeng rarely gave gifts. However, when he did, it would definitely be an important gift. Thank you, senior brother. After obtaining the bracelet and the medicinal pill, Xiao Chun left in joy. As Yi Zifeng watched Xiao Chun leave, he muttered, "We both came from the Kunlun realm. Back then, Master might have been like junior brother now. However, he possesses the blue dragon bloodline. Don't make the same mistake I did back then." Yi Zifeng had only entered the Purple Flame sect for a few days, but he had already helped Xiao Chun a lot. First, he resolved the Black Lotus Church's pursuit. Next, he protected Xiao Chun, preventing his bloodline from being exposed. Now, Yi Zifeng gave Xiao Chun a precious bracelet and life-saving medicinal pills. This was completely unlike the senior brother that he had just met. Xiao Chun remembered all these favors in his heart. Xiao Chun returned to Ling Yu's courtyard. The first thing Xiao Chun did was take out the Buddhist beads and study them. The Buddhist beads were polished from the scarlet pearls, one of the 7 treasures of the Buddhist sections. The pearls were red and glossy, and there were a total of 12 of them. Each of them had Buddhist scriptures carved on them. The scarlet pearls were said to be born in the bellies of a rare fish beast that lived in a forbidden sea. That kind of fish beast was naturally intelligent and had lived for many epochs. They were very rare. The people of the Buddhist sects revered them as holy beasts. After they died and were cremated, they would produce pearls similar to the sariras of eminent monks, the scarlet pearls. According to the legends of the Buddhist sects, the ancestor of this fish beast formed a fate with the primitive Buddha before the primitive Buddha became a Buddha. The descendants of these fish beasts were born with a Buddhist nature and could stand shoulder to shoulder with eminent monks. Over the epochs, the number of such fish beasts had dwindled. Hence, every scarlet pearl was a priceless treasure that could be formed into a string of Buddhist beads. Furthermore, they had the support of eminent monks all year round. The value of their existence was immeasurable. Most of the time, these Buddhist beads polished from scarlet pearls were known as sariras. Xiao Chun had spent a lot of effort in the Book of the Epochs before he managed to find this information. After Xiao Chun learned of it, he was startled. Back then, the eminent monk that gave senior brother the Buddhist beads must have held an extremely high position in the hidden spirit temple. For senior brother to give it to Xiao Chun would not be able to repay this favor. It looked like senior brother was really worried about Xiao Chun clashing head-on with those true inheritors. Xiao Chun also did not want Xiao Chun to force a breakthrough in the heat of the moment, wasting the foundation that he laid earlier. Senior brother really put in a lot of thought. Without breaking through, Xiao Chun would have to fight with these true inheritors. The 3 moves of the Mahamaya abstinence violation saber technique were undoubtedly Xiao Chun's greatest trump cards: breaking the mundane, resolving the mundane, and entering hell. As long as Xiao Chun refined one move, he would be able to fight with those true inheritors. Learning 2 moves would be sufficient for him to compete with them. Mastering all 3 moves would allow him to suppress them. Understanding his senior brother's intentions, Xiao Chun no longer hesitated. He held the Sarira Buddhist beads in his right hand and closed his eyes to comprehend them. Xiao Chun circulated breaking the mundane in his body as he gently moved the Buddhist beads with his thumb. Soon, the Buddhist beads gave off a faint light. A gentle Buddhist light radiated from Xiao Chun's palm, covering him in a layer of pure and holy light. Xiao Chun did not know anything about Buddhism. He only managed to comprehend the true meaning of breaking the mundane after seeing what happened to the Iron Hand Yama. By chance, Xiao Chun understood that since the Buddha heart existed, he was Buddha. Whether it was broken or not, it did not matter. Only then did he comprehend the true meaning of the saber. However, Xiao Chun had only just reached the threshold. He had not truly condensed the Buddha heart, so the swastika on his forehead could not appear. Now, with these Buddhist Sarira pearls, he would be like half an esteemed monk when he held them. Although Xiao Chun could not explain the Buddhist principles, he could understand them in his heart. Cultivating the Mahaya abstinence violation saber technique would definitely yield twice the result with half the effort. Combined with Xiao Chun's high comprehension ability, it was like adding wings to a tiger. Many people could not comprehend the true meaning of Buddhist sect martial techniques because they did not understand the Buddhist Dharma. With these Saraira Buddhist beads, Xiao Chun would be very different. He would be able to sweep away the greatest obstacle to cultivating the Buddhist sect's cultivation techniques and martial techniques. Suddenly, Xiao Chen's various experiences flashed through his mind like a painting. As the painting unfolded in this gentle Buddhist light, it was like he experienced the mundane world all over again. This time, Xiao Chen's comprehension was even deeper than the previous time. The number of scenes that appeared was also several times greater. Countless scenes layered over each other, bringing out the pinnacle of the mundane world's troubles. Birth, old age, sickness, and death, resentment and hatred, separation from love, unattainable. However, Xiao Chen's heart was already as clear as a mirror. With the Saraira Buddhist beads in hand, he could see everything clearly. Xiao Chen shouted, and the mundane world turned into flames, burning fiercely in the entire room, breaking the precepts and achieving peace. Furthermore, using the mundane world as a furnace to temper my Buddha heart. As the fire burned, it looked very scary. Xiao Chen stood in the center of the fire, his eyes closed as he held the Saraira Buddhist beads. A Buddhist light shone on his palm, looking calm. The strand of golden Buddhist light on Xiao Chen's forehead grew increasingly resplendent, as if it would come out at any moment. Chapter 1671. The mundane world as a furnace, forging my Buddhist heart. Amid the flames of the mundane world, Xiao Chun held the Buddhist Saraira pearls, releasing a gentle Buddhist light from his entire body. Xiao Chun used this fierce flame to continuously refine himself, seeking to condense a Buddhist heart. As the mundane world churned, Xiao Chun, who was like an old monk in meditation, appeared unmoving. In reality, he was reincarnated in the mundane world again and again. One moment, he was a merchant. The next moment, he was a commoner. The next moment, he was a general. The next moment, he was an elegant noble clan young master. Every incarnation ended in misery, experiencing all sorts of suffering. This cycle continued for a total of 7 days. Then, the resplendent golden light on Xiao Chen's forehead finally turned into a swastika and flew out. As the swastika spun on Xiao Chen's forehead, it gave off an intense and piercing golden Buddhist light. Xiao Chen suddenly opened his eyes. As he held the Buddhist Saraira pearls, he looked like a glaring guardian deity. An extremely tyrannical Buddhist might spread out. The flames of the mundane world turned into vanished. Now, only the solemn Buddhist might that belonged to him remained in the entire cultivation room. That Buddhist might was tyrannical and ferocious, containing a murderous aura. It did not tolerate any small tricks or impurities, exuding might without anger. With a thought, Xiao Chen's hand, which was fiddling with the Buddhist Saraira pearls, suddenly stopped. The swastika on his forehead returned. The Buddhist light in the entire cultivation room disappeared in an instant, leaving only silence. Only the lingering, gentle Buddhist light on Xiao Chen's body proved that everything that happened earlier was real. Good. I finally condensed this Buddhist heart. Breaking the mundane can be considered to have reached a higher level. Xiao Chun revealed joy on his face. After 7 days of closed-door cultivation and the support of the Buddhist Saraira pearls, he gained some comprehension of Buddhist principles. In the illusions of the mundane world, Xiao Chun experienced all sorts of life, experiencing all the worries of the world. The short 7 days felt like 70 years. Xiao Chun finally managed to cultivate the Buddhist heart that only esteemed monks of the Buddhist path could. It was just like the skeleton dragon, Star Venerate. When he executed breaking the mundane earlier, he had a swastika on his forehead. However, that was not a true Buddhist heart. It was just a fake Buddhist heart that the skeleton dragon, Star Venerate, imitated using his strong soul energy. He did not understand the true meaning of the saber technique or Buddhist principles, so he could not condense a Buddhist heart. He could only use his cultivation to force it. However, Xiao Chun truly had a Buddhist heart. Xiao Chun could already bring out 30% of breaking the mundane's might. Xiao Chen's cultivation was limited, so he could not bring it out. When Xiao Chun reached the Cloud Sea realm, he would naturally be able to unleash the full might of breaking the mundane without any obstruction. This was unlike the skeleton dragon Star Venerate, who could barely bring out 30% of its might with his Cloud Sea cultivation. As he held the Buddhist prayer beads, he started to think. Right now, he had a total of 4 directions for his cultivation. The sabers. Chun needed 2. Saber. Dao. The saber chun of Saba Chun. The sabers of Sab's techniques, sabers of Sab's. Was. Demon Chun Tian, Chun, Xiao Now. Xiao breaking Chun, Chun. Monk. Chun, dragon heart. Xiao. And. Chun. The heaven. Xiao Chun would spend some time comprehending resolving the mundane and entering hell after he broke through to the primal core realm. Next was the army-breaking saber technique. After all, breaking the mundane could only be used as a trump card. It exhausted too much energy and could not be used frequently. As for the army-breaking saber technique, it was a peak martial technique of the Divine Shield Army. After that, Xiao Chun modified it, turning it into a saber technique with great offensive power. Breaking vast armies, breaking mountains and rivers, breaking stars, and breaking the world. These 4 great killing moves were incredibly mighty. If Xiao Chun continued to cultivate them, there would be many more areas for him to explore. They were very suitable for ordinary battles. As for the final flawless saber technique, it was too weak back then in the Kunlun realm. Now, it looked like it was somewhat lacking in might. Xiao Chun could only give up on it for now. In the future, when his saber Dao improved further, he would perfect it. The second direction was movement techniques. Xiao Chen's current movement technique, the new fish dragon art, was something he had modified from watching ferocious beasts. He used their characteristics to change the angle of his body and raise his speed. At that time, it looked fine. However, now that he thought about it, it was riddled with flaws. Although Xiao Chun was fast, he could not control it as he pleased. He felt like he lost control. In that kind of movement technique, his martial technique and mental cultivation method could not keep up, causing the power of his attacks to decrease. In the end, Xiao Chen's horizons were too narrow. He had not seen many movement techniques. If he had an opportunity in the fiendish demon battlefield, he would have to find a movement technique to make up for this shortcoming. As for what Xiao Chen needed to do now, he had to make full use of the new fish dragon art's nearly uncontrollable speed. The third direction was the physical body. He already had 4 cauldron strength now. However, he had yet to obtain a truly powerful physical body cultivation technique in the Great Thousand Realms. In the end, he did not know how to nourish, circulate, and control his energy. He was unable to bring out the true vital qi of his physical body. He estimated that his physical body could withstand 10 cauldron force without any problem. Unfortunately, without a cultivation technique, he could not cultivate so much strength. The last direction was the power of bloodline. This was the strongest, but also the most helpless. He could find fortuitous encounters in the fiendish demon battlefield for movement techniques and physical body cultivation techniques. Alternatively, one could spend a large sum of money to obtain it in an auction. However, the cultivation of bloodline power was very difficult to obtain. As for some of the trump cards that Xiao Chun was already familiar with, he did not need to practice them. Dermic World, the Ice Blood Lightning Dragon, and the Dragon Blood Soul Breaking Finger would all grow stronger as his cultivation increased. After thinking for a while, Xiao Chun decided to stake it all on this. Before the fiendish demon battlefield opened, he would focus all his energy on practicing his saber techniques. In order to make his strong points stronger, Xiao Chun would spend the remaining time on the army-breaking saber technique. After refining his Buddha nature for 7 days, Xiao Chun vaguely gained new comprehensions for this army-breaking saber technique. He could infuse a trace of the Buddhist might of the Mahamaya abstinence violation saber technique's unparalleled ferocity and killing chi into the army-breaking saber technique. It's decided then. I'll familiarize myself with breaking the mundane and continue to strengthen the might of the army-breaking saber technique. Xiao Chun put away the Buddhist Saraira pearls and made up his mind. In the following time, aside from spending 2 hours guiding Ling Yu every day, Xiao Chun followed his plan to practice his saber techniques. Ling Yu's strength improved rapidly. Now, he could spar with Xiao Chun. The two could be considered to have gained something. Xiao Chun used Ling Yu to practice his saber, finding his flaws and improving them. If Ling Yu wanted to defeat Feng Yu, sparring with a bladesman like Xiao Chun was undoubtedly the best choice. In the blink of an eye, more than 1 month passed. Before they knew it, the two had made great improvements. By relying on the life juice source that Xiao Chun gave Ling Yu successfully broke through to late-stage minor primal core realm. More importantly, under the tempering of Xiao Chun's killing chi, Ling Yu's aura underwent a complete transformation. His entire temperament had undergone a complete transformation, and all the edges of his body had become sharper and sharper. The sharpness that Ling Yu unintentionally gave off was pressing and intimidating, giving off a shocking tyranny. As for Xiao Chun, his army-breaking saber technique finally reached great perfection. With the addition of the ferocious Buddhist might to the 4 killing moves, one could no longer see any trace of the Divine Shield Army's 1,000 Army Sword technique. It became Xiao Chun's unique army-breaking saber technique. It even vaguely surpassed the 1,000 Army Sword technique. As for breaking the mundane, Xiao Chun could control it as he pleased. With a thought, the Buddhist mark on his forehead could appear. Martial uncle, with your current strength, when you use it at full power, you are already no weaker than the true inheritors of our Purple Flame sect. However, your cultivation. Ling Yu, who had seen Xiao Chun's many trump cards and horrifying saber techniques, gave Xiao Chun an extremely high evaluation. Xiao Chun smiled and shook his head. There is no point in saying that. The difference in cultivation is still a difference. We cannot ignore it. Tell me, who are the strongest disciples in the 3 blessed grotto heavens? At the mention of this, Ling Yu felt excited. He nodded and said, the strongest disciple of our Black Cave Mountain is the divine firmament sect Shangwan Lei. He already reached early stage major primal core realm long ago, and his talent in the Thunder Dao is exceptionally terrifying. Martial uncle, you have to pay attention to him. He is also the Thunder Saber Xiang Tian's disciple and Feng Yu's senior brother. However, he is different from Feng Yu. Aside from the Thunder Dao, his comprehension of the Wind Dao is similarly startling. He is known as the Wind Thunder Berserk Saber. Xiao Chun nodded to indicate that he understood. Just the cultivation of such a person would inspire fear in others. Furthermore, Shangwan Lei cultivated 2 different types of energy at the same time. He could not be underestimated. The strongest disciple of the Heavenly Shaking Mountain is the Confucian Institution's Wang Yuanming, a member of the Confucian school. He cultivates righteous qi and follows the Tao of the ancient sages. His sword techniques are grand and majestic, giving off an overwhelming righteous qi. As for the Padala Mountain, they do not pay much attention to the rankings. However, everyone knows that the strongest disciple of the Padala Mountain is the profound light temple's Zhen Yuan. Zhen Yuan's cultivation is very high. I heard that he even cultivated the Iron Dharma body. The strength of his physical body is startling and incredibly strong. Chapter 1672. The Divine Firmament Sect Shangwan Lei, the Confucian Institution's Wang Yuanming, and the Profound Light Temple's Zhen Yuan. Xiao Chun silently memorized the names of these 3 people. They were the 3 strongest true inheritors of the Blessed Enclave. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Xiao Chun would not fight them head-on. Xiao. Just then, Xiao Chun and Ling Yu simultaneously felt a powerful aura descend upon this courtyard. Someone is coming. What a familiar aura. It should be one of our sect's heir disciples. Ling Yu said as he looked at Xiao Chun. Xiao Chun's heart skipped a beat, and he nodded thoughtfully. Let's go out and take a look. The 2 of them walked out of the courtyard and saw a purple-robed young man standing under a small tree in front of the door. Judging from his age, he was probably older than Xiao Chun, but not by much. As he stood there was a gentle warmth radiating in all directions. Flowers, trees, insects, birds, and beasts all revealed a lazy look, like a warm ray of sunlight in winter. What a powerful flame domain. He could control it as he pleased. It was just a very small detail, but Xiao Chun felt that this purple-clothed youth was not to be underestimated. It's Hua Yunfeng, our sect's top true inheritor. Lingyu did not dare to be slow. He stepped forward and cupped his hands. Greetings, senior brother Hua. Although he was older than the other party in terms of seniority, he was still young and inexperienced. His strength was also inferior to the other party, so he still had to call him senior brother. Hua Yunfeng chuckled and said, "Greetings, little martial uncle. Is senior brother Hua here to look for martial uncle Xiao Chun?" Lingyu asked based on his intuition. Normally, this senior brother Hua was elusive and had never taken the initiative to seek him out. Hua Yunfeng nodded. Then, he glanced at Xiao Chun thoughtfully, revealing a confused expression. Xiao Chun said indifferently, "Brother Hua, if you have something to say, just say it. The fiendish demon battlefield is about to open. Normally, the competition between the various sects of our Black Cave Mountain is intense. However, at such a time, the various blessed lands would do their best to organize themselves and advance and retreat together. At the very least, when the people from the blessed enclave meet, they can take care of each other. That will be helpful to everyone." Xiao Chun listened carefully and felt that it made sense. "However, what does that have to do with me?" Xiao Chun retorted confidently. What did this have to do with him? They, the true inheritors, had formed an alliance. How could they think highly of him? Furthermore, Xiao Chun was not considered a member of the Purple Flame sect. He only relied on his backer to obtain a spot, so he was very free. Hua Yunfeng smiled and said, "That's right. What does it have to do with you? I can't figure it out either. But the organizer, Shangwan Lei, called you out by name and told me that I must invite you along." Shangwan Lei. The expressions of Xiao Chun and Lingyu changed at the same time. Lingyu whispered to Hua Yunfeng about the greeting of swords' edges. After Hua Yunfeng heard that, he revealed a contemplative expression. Then he said softly, "No wonder. In that case, you don't have to go. I'll help you. If this Shangwan Lei wants you to go, nothing good will come out of it. It is better not to go." Xiao Chun thought to himself, Hua Yunfeng is really direct. However, if I reject Shangwan Lei like this, won't that incite even greater jealousy? In the end, Xiao Chun voiced the doubts in his heart for Hua Yunfeng's consideration. Hua Yunfeng analyzed that Shangwan Lei has a very good relationship with Fengyu. To Fengyu, Shangwan Lei is both a senior brother and half a master. When Fengyu was young, Shangwan Lei taught him when he practiced the saber. Now that you embarrassed him so much, Shangwan Lei will definitely remember it. I'm also very clear on Shangwan Lei's character. He will definitely take revenge for the smallest grievance. When he is not angry, it is like a sudden clap of thunder. Right now, he should not be angry. If we don't go, we might really anger him, making things even more troublesome. Xiao Chun said indifferently, "Let's go then." Hua Yunfeng revealed a grateful expression. If Xiao Chun really chose not to go, he would be stuck in a difficult position. "Make your preparations. We will depart tomorrow and head for the Divine Firmament Sect's Thunder Controlling Peak. At that time, all the true inheritors of the Black Cave Mountain will be there. No matter what, I will do my best to resolve this conflict." Hua Yunfeng showed some helplessness. Clearly, he felt somewhat depressed that he had to put in so much effort to resolve this matter. Before coming, Hua Yunfeng had not expected something like this to happen between Xiao Chun and Shangwan Lei. However, no matter what, Xiao Chun felt grateful to the other party. At the very least, this Hua Yunfeng was a magnanimous person. He showed everything on his face, not beating around the bush and dealing with things hypocritically. After Hua Yunfeng left, Lingyu asked in a fluster, somewhat distracted, "Martial uncle, what should we do?" The strongest true inheritor of the Black Cave Mountain wanted to seek trouble for Xiao Chun, who could feel at ease. More importantly, Xiao Chun was the cause of this trouble. Xiao Chun looked at the sky with a somewhat complicated expression. After a while, he said to Lingyu, "Lingyu, go out tonight. Let Martial Uncle be alone for a while." Martial Uncle, Don't take things too hard, Ling Yu said somewhat worriedly. Xiao Chan felt speechless in his heart. He smiled bitterly and said, I've experienced several things that were even more difficult and dangerous than this. How can I take things too hard because of this? After Ling Yu left, Xiao Chun sat alone in the courtyard in silence. Ao Jiao flew out of the immortal spirit ring with little yellow feather. Then, she looked at Xiao Chun somewhat worriedly. However, she was not too worried. Seeing Ao Jiao appear, Xiao Chun was slightly stunned. After not seeing her for a long time, Ao Jiao now looked increasingly more human. There was practically no trace of her being an item spirit. In reality, Ao Jiao could no longer be considered an item spirit. Her connection to the lunar shadow saber was so weak that it was negligible. Suddenly, Xiao Chun discovered something strange. He smiled in pleasant surprise and said, Ao Jiao, you grew taller. Really? Ao Jiao exclaimed in shock. She had not noticed this before. Xiao Chun smiled and said, Come over and compete with me. A look of embarrassment flashed on Ao Jiao's face as she walked over to Xiao Chun's side. Indeed, she had grown significantly taller. Previously, she had been as tall as Xiao Chun's shoulders. Now, she was as tall as Xiao Chun's chin. Xiao Chun sighed. He felt that time passed really fast. He thought back to when he first met Ao Jiao. Her ferocious appearance was still vivid in his mind. Without her companionship in the Sky Dome realm and the Kunlun realm, Xiao Chun would have died countless times already. Xiao Chun, what are you thinking about? Ao Jiao asked curiously as she stepped back and looked at Xiao Chun. Ling Yu knew that Xiao Chun was definitely not afraid. The Kunlun realm had faced many big scenes and many difficult situations, but Xiao Chun had never feared them. From that inexperienced youth in Mo City to surpassing Ling Yu, then the Thunder King. Now, he surpassed the Kunlun realm and entered the Great Thousand Realms. Xiao Chun had long since become capable of holding his own. He remained calm in the face of danger and dealt with them calmly. Xiao Chun took out the lunar shadow saber. Without drawing it, he just looked at Ling Yu and said, I'm thinking about how to face tomorrow's situation. Unfortunately, there is too little information. I can't think of anything. It was already too late to search for information about Shangwanlei. There was no point in thinking too much. So, Ao Jiao asked, So I'll just stop thinking. Clang. Right after Ling Yu spoke, Xiao Chun instantly drew the lunar shadow saber. The streamlined white blade was about half Xiao Chun's height. Not including the hilt, it was already 1 meter long. When the sunlight reflected off it, it gave off a glow like that of autumn water, rippling faintly. Ao Jiao, do you think the saber is sharp enough? Xiao Chun asked softly as he looked at the flickering blade. Ao Jiao did not know what he meant. After thinking for a while, she said, The lunar shadow saber is a peak divine weapon in the Kunlun realm. However, in the Great Thousand Realms, it is only a treasure tool. Even among treasure tools, it is not at the peak. Furthermore, there are even stronger Dao tools above treasure tools. After a pause, Ao Jiao had no choice but to speak the truth. The weapons that the true inheritors of Rank 4 sect use are all peak treasure tools. The lunar shadow saber, it is no longer sharp enough. Xiao Chun said sullenly, If a bladesman saber is not sharp enough, how can he intimidate the weak? There was a faint sorrow on Xiao Chun's face. His white robes were clean, and his tall and straight figure appeared somewhat frail. While Xiao Chun was referring to the lunar shadow saber, he was actually referring to himself. If Xiao Chun were strong and unparalleled, the divine firmament sect Shangwanlei would not dare to call him out and humiliate him without any fear. After tomorrow's battle, I will seal the lunar shadow saber, Xiao Chun said softly. Sealing the lunar shadow saber did not mean that he would retire. Instead, he would seal all his past glory and start anew in this Great Thousand Realms, sealing the saber to show his ambitions. His ambitions were not high, but to continuously surpass himself. Chapter 1673. Sealing the saber, Ao Jiao was startled, feeling somewhat surprised. However, this was within reason. She did not feel too disappointed in her heart. Being able to accompany Xiao Chun to the end of the Sky Dome realm and the Kunlun realm meant that she had completed her mission long ago. After coming to this great thousand realms, there were many things that were unfamiliar to her. She felt somewhat out of place. Actually, the lunar shadow saber was no longer suitable for Xiao Chun. However, because of his feelings and reluctance, Xiao Chun kept using it until now. As an item spirit, Ao Jiao had a master like Sang Mu in her previous life. Now, she had a master like Xiao Chun. To Ao Jiao, this was already the greatest fortune. With such a life, what was there to be dissatisfied with? Xiao Chun closed his eyes and gently tapped the saber with his right hand. The saber trembled, and a buzzing sound came from the air. Ao Jiao paled as she took 2 steps back. In that instant, Xiao Chun had severed the final connection between Ao Jiao and the lunar shadow saber. Master, feeling a strange pain in her heart, Ao Jiao held her hand over her chest and took a few steps back. Xiao Chun turned around and placed Ao Jiao in his left arm. Then, he stabbed the lunar shadow saber into the ground. Ao Jiao's body felt somewhat weak. However, her pale face blushed slightly. She smiled and said, "If I don't call you that in the future, I probably won't have the chance to call you master again." Xiao Chun sat down and pulled Ao Jiao into his embrace. He revealed a gentle smile as he looked to the front. "You know that I have never treated you as an item spirit. Along the way, I have experienced many obstacles, many trials and tribulations. If not for your company, how could I have survived until today?" Xiao Chun lowered his right hand, which held the saber, and grabbed Ao Jiao's smooth left hand tightly. Ao Jiao felt a gentle warmth coming from Xiao Chen's palm. She looked at Xiao Chen's face, and, coincidentally, Xiao Chen's gaze landed on her at the same time. Their eyes met. There was no need to say many words. As a gentle breeze blew, Xiao Chen's thoughts drifted. He could not help but think of the scene of Ao Jiao hugging him during the recasting of the lunar shadow in Mo City. That day, the spring breeze had stirred the young man's heart, and the seed of ambiguity had already been planted. It was also on that day that Xiao Chun became Lunar Shadow's owner. In front of the Thunder King Sang Mu, he swore that he would not let Ao Jiao shed tears. Fortunately, Xiao Chun remembered that it was to save Ao Jiao. When he was imprisoned and faced the enemy alone, Ao Jiao cried because her heart ached for him. If he could do it all over again, Xiao Chun would still choose to imprison Ao Jiao, putting her in danger. He still remembered the most dangerous 7th layer of the Purple Thunder Divine incantation. The heart tribulation was very difficult. Between the real and the fake, he was trapped by a heart demon. Ao Jiao risked her life to save him, enduring the final lightning tribulation alone. He slept alone, wishing that he would never wake up from that dream, never opening his eyes for 10,000 years. The relationship between the two was no longer just that of a master and an item spirit. Gaga, Gaga. Just at this moment, a few strange sounds that spoiled the mood rang out. Little Yellow Feather stood on a tree branch in the courtyard, its back facing the two. It looked up at the sky with an expression that said, "I don't know anything. I can't see anything." Ao Jiao giggled, but she was not willing to get up. "It feels good to be in your embrace. Do you know? I thought a lot earlier. I thought about my previous life and this life. I thought about all the battles I fought for you. If there is a next life, I would really be willing to be the blade in your hand again." However, Xiao Chun did not say anything, not saying anything. If there was a next life, he would definitely change his choice. Ao Jiao spoke softly, and Xiao Chun listened quietly. Most of the time, it was Xiao Chun speaking and Ao Jiao listening. However, today, it was the other way around. This was because Xiao Chun knew that their parting might be coming soon. If Xiao Chun still did not listen, there would be no more chances. Little Yellow Feather's occasional cries accompanied Xiao Chen's, and he just listened quietly. Night fell, and the waning moon hung high in the sky. The bleak and cold moonlight filled the courtyard. However, when the moonlight landed on the two, it did not feel cold at all. Instead, they hugged each other even tighter. At some point in time, Ao Jiao stopped speaking, and Xiao Chun looked over. Under the bleak and cold moonlight, Ao Jiao's exquisite face looked exceptionally gentle. Her red lips were tender, and there was a faint affection in her eyes. Amid the affection, there was also a trace of anticipation. Xiao Chun lowered his head and paused for a moment. Then, he no longer hesitated and kissed those tender red lips. At this moment, an ambiguous flame ignited with this kiss. Little Yellow Feather, who was on a tree branch, turned around and entered deep thought. Then it flapped its wings ferociously. A flame surged out, and, as the wind blew, it burned the two's clothes clean. Under Little Yellow Feather's deliberate control, the flame did not harm the two at all. However, this only made the ambiguous flame even more intense. Little Yellow Feather nodded in satisfaction. Then, it flapped its wings and soared into the air, not lingering any longer. After a while, the courtyard was filled with the alluring scenery of spring. The two vented the suppressed feelings in their hearts. Early the next morning, when the first rays of sunlight shone down, Xiao Chun opened his eyes with some difficulty. Ao Jiao, who was beside him, was no longer there. When he looked around, the entire courtyard was empty. There was only a sharp blade flickering with a cold light stuck in the ground. Xiao Chun put on his clothes and slowly walked over. Then, he pulled the saber out of the ground. As he looked at the autumn water-like luster on the saber's edge, he remained silent for a long time. "Martial uncle, why is there another woman in your courtyard? Furthermore, there is a strange yellow-feathered bird with a bad temper." At some point, Lingyu had walked in, asking with a confused expression. Disappointment appeared on Xiao Chen's face as he asked softly, "What happened after that?" "Master told me to send them off. When they left the heavenly shaking mountain, that girl told me to pass on a message to Martial Uncle." "What message?" "She told Martial Uncle not to worry about her. She would help Little Yellow Feather search for its race and unlock some of its final memories. Also, as expected, with Little Yellow Feather taking care of her, Xiao Chun did not worry about Ao Jiao's future." He continued, "What else?" "She said that if Martial Uncle finds another saber, don't forget your original intention and change its name to Moon Seeking." When Xiao Chun heard that, he felt stunned. His expression turned somewhat stiff and unsightly. "Don't forget your original intention. Moon Seeking? Which moon?" Ao Jiao knew, and so did Xiao Chun. "Where is she now? How long has she been gone?" After a while, the calm on Xiao Chen's face vanished as he asked impatiently. "She has been gone for a long time already, almost 4 hours. She entered the Trans-Realm Transportation Formation long ago, but I do not know where she went." For a moment, Xiao Chun felt disappointed and frustrated, not saying anything for a long time. "Martial Uncle, are you all right?" Lingyu asked somewhat worriedly. Later, Martial Uncle still had to go to the Divine Firmament Sect's Thunder Controlling Peak. He did not know how that Shangguan Lei would make things difficult for Martial Uncle. Given Martial Uncle's current state, the situation was not good. Xiao Chun forced a smile and said, "I'm fine. I just need some peace and quiet." Lingyu left helplessly. Before he left, he shook his head slightly, wondering what Martial Uncle experienced last night. At the stone table, Xiao Chun took out a cup of wine and started drinking alone in silence. After this battle, the Lunar Shadow Saber would be sealed, along with the glory of the past. However, many memories would remain in Xiao Chun's heart, something that he would never forget. "Here's a toast to you." Xiao Chun took out the wine and raised his cup to the Lunar Shadow Saber stabbed into the ground. The saber trembled as though replying to Xiao Chun, "I'll offer you a toast as well." One man and one saber started drinking. The man was drunk, and so was the saber. In the courtyard, the Lunar Shadow Saber buzzed as it moved in the air, dancing in the air. Scenes of the past appeared in the surroundings. Those were scenes of the past Xiao Chun dancing with the saber. From the Sky Dome realm to the Kunlun realm, and finally to the battle with Chu Chaoyin. When the scenes ended, Xiao Chun put down his wine cup and stood up. Then he stretched out his hand and grasped the Lunar Shadow Saber tightly. The saber was like an arm, connected by blood and mind. Looking at the limpid saber, Xiao Chun smiled in satisfaction. Then, he sheathed the saber and walked out of the courtyard. Hua Yinfeng had been waiting for a long time with the 6 true inheritors of the Purple Flame sect. "I've kept everyone waiting," Xiao Chun said with a cupped fist salute. Hua Yinfeng and the other true inheritors knew that Shangwan Lei would make things difficult for Xiao Chun soon. They felt some sympathy for Xiao Chun's misfortune and did not feel upset about waiting. High in the starry heavens, Ao Jiao sat on Little Yellow Feather as they flew to the great realm where the Golden Crow race was. The bliss from last night still lingered on her pretty face. Sealing the saber to show her determination was Xiao Chen's new life. How could it not be Ao Jiao's new life as well? Chapter 1674. Hua Yinfeng looked at Xiao Chun and said sullenly, "Don't overthink. I will do my best to help you deal with it, as long as it is within my ability." Xiao Chun nodded and said nothing. There were many fortuitous encounters in the fiendish demon battlefield, competing with the other 2 blessed lands. Hua Yinfeng had to work together with Shangwan Lei. At the very least, he could not create an opponent like Shangwan Lei for himself, lest it lead to unnecessary conflicts. Of course, Shangwan Lei did not dare to be too presumptuous. He also needed Hua Yunfeng's help to deal with the other 2 blessed grotto heavens. Between the 2, there was only a relationship of using each other. After this point, they would definitely return to their original state. If not for the fact that the fiendish demon battlefield was about to open, no matter what, Hua Yinfeng would have helped Xiao Chun endure it. No matter what, at the very least, Xiao Chun represented the Purple Flame sect. Unfortunately, it just so happened that Xiao Chun could not fall out with Shangwan Lei. From Xiao Chun's point of view, he had no choice but to go. Otherwise, if the other party targeted them in the fiendish demon battlefield, it would be even more problematic. It would be better to deal with it in advance. Unless Xiao Chun was willing to give up on this fortuitous encounter in the fiendish demon battlefield, he would not be able to do so. However, he really couldn't give up. If Xiao Chun could not even clear this stage, he would go to Ancestor Dragon City in the future. So what if they faced those geniuses and outstanding talents who were even stronger than Shangwan Lei? They might as well not go. Xiao Chun didn't think too much about it. He just took it as stepping into the boundless world. Hua Yinfeng raised his head to the sky and roared. After a while, a large eagle flew over from a distant mountain peak. The wingspan was at least 100 zhang. 5 or 6 people standing on it was nothing at all. The eagle brought everyone to Black Cave Mountain's divine firmament sect's thunder controlling peak. The 2 sects were not far from each other, and the eagle was extremely fast. It didn't take long before they saw a mountain shrouded in thunderclouds. Purple lightning struck down continuously, illuminating the surroundings. Before Xiao Chun even got close, he could already feel the dense, lightning-attributed spiritual energy. He had to admit that this mountain peak of the divine firmament sect was truly blessed by the heavens. If a lightning-attributed cultivator cultivated in this peak, he would definitely improve at a godly speed, far surpassing others. It was somewhat similar to the Thunder Emperor Valley in the Sky Dome realm when Xiao Chun was in the Sky Dome realm. However, the layout was different. Suddenly, the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning in Xiao Chen's sea of consciousness leaped about, as if half of it wanted to escape. Xiao Chen quickly suppressed it. If the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning accidentally jumped out, he would be the first to bear the brunt of it and be blasted into meat paste. Even now, Xiao Chen's divine lightning, I could only use the power of the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning a little. As they got closer and closer, the lightning falling from the sky became clearer and clearer. The bolts of lightning were like terrifying ancient dragons that flickered in the sky, baring their fangs and brandishing their claws, causing everyone to feel a wave of fear. Lightning had always been the most overbearing manifestation of the wrath of the heavenly Tao. Ordinary people would feel fearful of it. This was especially true for evil demons, spirits, and other such existences. It was a devastating blow. Thunder controlling peak. I wonder what the story behind this name is. I heard that the lightning on this thunder-controlling peak was left behind by a sovereign personage many years ago after he failed his tribulation. After the divine firmament sect occupied this peak, there were people who extracted this tribulation lightning for their own use. Hence, the name Thunder-Controlling Peak. A senior brother at the side explained to Xiao Chun when he saw that this was his first time here. Xiao Chun revealed an expression of understanding. No wonder the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning in his sea of consciousness stirred, eager to give a try. It turned out to be a bolt of tribulation lightning. However, Xiao Chun had experienced many lightning tribulations, and the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning did not show any signs of abnormality. It looked like the lightning tribulation of this sovereign personage was indeed extraordinary. Could it be that there is no end to it? Xiao Chun asked casually. Logically speaking, if one continuously extracted it for a long time, it would run out sooner or later. The Divine Firmament sect was a sect where everyone, from the sect master to the outer sect disciples, cultivated the Thunder Tao. At the very least, not for now. The core source of the lightning did not decrease by much. Furthermore, the Divine Firmament sect laid a lightning guiding formation, replenishing the lightning-attributed energy for a long time. Xiao Chun entered deep thought. This Divine Firmament sect is really ambitious. The lightning guiding formation drains an astronomical amount of resources. They're trying to become a rank 5 sect. This is a fact that everyone knows. Unfortunately, my Purple Flame sect is unable to obtain such a good peak. If we can obtain a Purple Flame divine peak, everyone can cultivate our sect's Purple Flame art. We might even be able to catch up to the Divine Firmament sect. Xiao Chun did not say anything. It looked like the Divine Firmament sect was indeed strong. Even the Purple Flame sect's true inheritors acknowledged their inferiority. After about 7 minutes and a round of inspection, Hua Yunfeng's group finally arrived at the summit of Thunder Controlling Peak. The summit was flattened and turned into a huge platform. A purple plaza was in the center. There were many stone pillars erected in the plaza, and at the top of each stone pillar, there were thunder flames burning, illuminating the entire plaza with brilliant lights. The special aura formed by the thunder flames formed a lightning dome flickering with electricity in the sky above the plaza. It looked like a cage descending, looking very strange. The location of this gathering was this Thunderflame Plaza. After the group arrived, they discovered that the true inheritors of the other sects of the Black Cave Mountain had already arrived. The Divine Firmament sect's true inheritors sat in the middle of the tall platform. The other sects took their assigned seats. Xiao Chun casually looked around. None of the true inheritors here were below the major primal core realm. Indeed, it was as Xiao Chun expected. Those who could become true inheritors of this blessed land would definitely have high cultivations. Among this group of true inheritors, Xiao Chun stood out. Many people looked at him with doubtful expressions. They found it strange that the Purple Flame sect brought a half-step primal core disciple. What is this? Don't they know that this is a gathering of true inheritors to discuss the alliance? How can they let someone with such low cultivation enter? This is too ridiculous. However, the Purple Flame sect was a rank 4 sect, after all. Everyone was very clear on Hua Yunfeng's strength. Hua Yunfeng was an expert second only to Shang Wanlei. Even in the 3 blessed lands, he could rank within the top 10. Although everyone felt doubtful, no one dared to voice it. Brother Hua, I have been waiting for you for a long time. A purple-clad man with a squarish face and sharp eyes from the Divine Firmament sect's side stood up and spoke to Hua Yunfeng. If Xiao Chun guessed right, this person was Shang Wanlei. I came late. Brother Shang Wan, please forgive me. It's fine. I understand. Some honored guests definitely have to put on airs. Shang Wanlei smiled faintly and stepped forward. Let me introduce everyone. This is young Master Xiao Chun. He is Senior Yi Zifeng's junior brother. It was really difficult for him to come this time. The crowd immediately set the place abuzz with some disbelief. Such a young man with such low cultivation was actually Yi Zifeng's junior brother. Who was Yi Zifeng? He was one of the 10 great bladesmen of the Grave Sea. He had already reached peak star venerate many years ago. More importantly, Yi Zifeng was Pan Huang's disciple. This was something that the entire grave scene knew. Hua Yinfeng showed a somewhat embarrassed expression. Unexpectedly, Shang Wanlei announced Xiao Qin's identity the moment he arrived. Clearly, Shang Wanlei had an ulterior motive, harboring malicious intent. Senior Yi Zifeng is a senior that I respect a lot. He is also the opponent that my master respects the most. However, how did he produce a junior brother like you? You ignored the rules and attacked my junior brother, nearly causing him to fall into a demonic heart. Indeed, Shang Wanlei's face sank, and he changed the topic, shouting directly. Shang Wanlei's shout contained the rage of thunder and the power of the world, causing 100 bolts of lightning in the sky above thunder, controlling peak to descend at the same time. Whoosh! With Shang Wanlei's furious shout, the light of the entire platform instantly turned gloomy. Even the 100 bolts of lightning could not illuminate the platform. Everyone's hearts sank. Everyone felt a strange pressure. Only now did they understand why Shang Wanlei had sent Xiao Chun here. As everyone looked at Xiao Chun, they could not help showing a sympathetic gaze. This Shang Wanlei was famous for seeking revenge for the smallest grievance. Anyone who offended him would not have a good ending. Shang Wanlei's furious shout made the 5 Purple Flame sect true inheritors feel somewhat uncomfortable. However, Xiao Chun did not react at all. His expression remained the same, not changing at all. Before Hua Yinfeng could say anything, Xiao Chun stepped forward and looked at the other party. Shang Wanlei, Wind, Thunder, Berserk, Saber Shang Wanlei. Let me ask you too, how did the Thunder Saber Xiang Tian produce a disciple like you? Shameless, arrogant, and conceited. Shang Wanlei's shout also contained the Thunder Dao. Right after he spoke, he drove 100 bolts of lightning in the sky. However, these 100 bolts of lightning were even more berserk and resplendent than the one Shang Wanlei drove. Under Shang Wanlei's deliberate control, the dim light in the Thunder Flame Plaza suddenly brightened up, restoring its original brightness to its original state. Chapter 1675. One in the open and the other in the dark represented a secret competition between 2 great Thunder Dao geniuses. No one expected that an outsider like Xiao Chun could actually attract 100 lightning bolts to light up the plaza in this Thunder Flame Plaza. This was tantamount to declaring war on Shang Wanlei. Everyone felt a terrifying aura spreading in the plaza. Oh no, Shang Wanlei is angry. This white-clad person is really bold. To think that he dares to clash with Shang Wanlei in the Thunder Flame Plaza, everyone was shocked. Originally, they thought that Xiao Chun would not be able to resist Shang Wanlei's strong aura. Who knew? Not only did Xiao Chun withstand it, but he even pushed back this pressure. This resulted in a situation where both sides competed against each other. Shang Wanlei revealed a cold smile as he unleashed an indistinct killing chi. In an instant, everyone felt a chill spreading through their bodies. Hua Yinfeng thought to himself, oh no. Just as he was about to make a move to stop this, he discovered that it was already too late. The opposing Xiao Chun and Shang Wanlei suddenly unleashed their thunder domains. Rumble. Resplendent electric light immediately burst out of the two. Countless electric lights flickered on their bodies, crackling endlessly. A formless electric field spread out in all directions from the ground. Retreat. Hua Yunfeng's group, who was behind Xiao Chun, quickly retreated. At this moment, they could no longer interfere. Once they did, they would suffer the attacks of the two's thunder domains. The consequences would be dire. Even Hua Yinfeng would not have a good time. Of course, he would not take this risk. Hua Yinfeng was a very realistic person. As long as it was within his capabilities, he would have no problem taking care of Xiao Chun. However, it was not worth it for Hua Yinfeng to take the risk when it was beyond his capabilities. At the very least, in Hua Yunfeng's opinion, Xiao Chun was not worth his full help. The true inheritors of the various sects all stood up at this moment with grave expressions, clearly shocked. However, Shang Wanlei himself was even more shocked. To think that a half-step primal core brat could clash with him in the Thunder Dao and not be defeated. Interesting. Let's see how long you can hold on for. Shangwan Lei roared ferociously as he endured Xiao Qin's thunder domain. Then, he took a step forward and threw a palm strike. He did not add much of his cultivation to this palm strike, only the power of lightning to deal with Xiao Chun. He did not believe that his thunder Dao could not suppress the other party. Boom! The supreme tribulation lightning in the sky sent down 1,000 lightning bolts at the same time as Shangwan Lei's palm strike. With a thought from Shangwan Lei, thousands of lightning bolts gathered and turned into a lightning ferocious beast that bared its fangs and claws, covering half the sky. The might of this palm strike caused the world to change color, and the wind to blow, and clouds to surge, bringing with it an enormous pressure. Just by using his thunder Dao cultivation, the strength that Shangwan Lei displayed was already so terrifying. Everyone felt a deep fear in their hearts. He was truly worthy of being the strongest true inheritor of the Black Cave Mountain. With such strength, no one present could compete with him. The 10,000 tribulation divine lightning in his sea of consciousness flared up, raring to go. This made Xiao Chun feel like he could no longer suppress it. Gritting his teeth, Xiao Chun did his best to suppress the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning, drawing out the power of the lightning tribulation that he could fully control. Whoosh! Xiao Chun clenched his teeth and did his best to suppress the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning, drawing out the power of the lightning tribulation that he could fully control. Whoosh! Xiao Chun also threw a palm strike. 1,000 lightning bolts descended from the sky as well, looking very intimidating. The lightning bolts gathered and turned into a ferocious flood dragon. It did not fear the lightning ferocious beast that Shangwan Lei gathered. The lightning flood dragon and the lightning ferocious beast each covered one side of the sky, plunging the entire plaza into a storm of lightning. Bang! The two palms clashed, and the two formally clashed. A resplendent and dazzling white light burst out from the two palms, piercing the eyes. The berserk, lightning-attributed energy kicked up a strong wind. Strands of uncontrollable lightning-attributed energy wreaked havoc in the plaza. Bang, 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 bang. Aside from the ancient stone pillars that had existed for an unknown period of time, everything else in the Thunder Flame Plaza shattered and blasted into nothing. Without exception, the true inheritors of the various sects immediately brought out their veritable essence energy shields to protect themselves as though they were facing a great enemy. When the electric light slowly vanished, two figures stood in the boundless dust cloud. Everyone was shocked to discover that Xiao Chun did not move back at all, but Shangwan Lei did. That's impossible. In the clash of the Thunder Dao, in Thunder-controlling Peak's home ground, Xiao Chun actually knocked back Shangwan Lei in that earlier palm strike. Shangwan Lei's expression turned sullen. Although his strong cultivation prevented him from getting injured, he simply could not accept that his Thunder Dao cultivation was weaker than Xiao Chen's. However, he simply could not accept that his Thunder Dao cultivation was actually weaker than Xiao Chen's. Xiao Chun paled, and blood leaked out of the corner of his lips. Although he had defeated the other party, he had not expected this. Although he had defeated the other party, Xiao Chun did not have it easy. Shangwan Lei's Thunder Dao was exceptionally tyrannical and ferocious. If not for Xiao Chun having a good foundation and a physique comparable to that of a major primal core venerate, that earlier palm strike would have taken away half his life. Cultivation, it was still cultivation that was lacking. If Xiao Chen's cultivation were equal to the other party's, the other party would not have just taken a step back. Xiao Chun would have been instantly sent flying. Shangwan Lei, what are you trying to do? If you want to find an opponent, just look for me. Why the need to bully a half-step primal core venerate? Just at this moment, Huai Yunfeng's cold voice rang out. Huai Yunfeng could no longer stand by and watch. Based on Shangwan Lei's expression, it seemed like he really wanted to make a move. That was Huai Yunfeng's bottom line. He absolutely could not just watch as the other party made a move. Huai Yunfeng was very clear on how strong Shangwan Lei was. Earlier, the other party only brought out his Thunder Dao cultivation, his late-stage major primal core realm cultivation, and his terrifying saber technique. If Xiao Chun used his full power, given his current cultivation, he would not be a match for Shang Wanlei. Shang Wanlei smiled coldly. Humph, don't worry. Shang Wanlei, will not go to the extent of making things difficult for a half-step primal core cultivator. However, there are some things that need to be resolved today. He is in the wrong for interfering with my junior brother's duel with someone else. If I, Shang Wanlei, do not seek justice for my junior brother, will everyone be able to bully the disciples of my Thunder Saber Xiang Tian's line in the future? The true inheritors of the various sects discussed in whispers. Given this, Shang Wanlei did indeed make sense. Xiao Chen could not be bothered to rebut. He was not a 3-year-old child. The truth of the world was always in the hands of the strong. If Xiao Chen were strong enough, then the truth would be another matter altogether. Hua Yunfeng entered deep thought. We want. Just say it. Good. I've been waiting for you to say that. Let this brat fight my junior brother fair and square. As long as he agrees, I will not use this matter to make things difficult for him. I will also not make a move on him in the fiendish demon battlefield. The moment Shang Wanlei said that, Hua Yunfeng and Xiao Chun revealed doubtful expressions. Could it be that this Shang Wanlei did not know that Xiao Chun forced back Feng Yu with one saber strike? Whoever loses will have to give up and enter the fiendish demon battlefield. Shang Wanlei showed a sullen expression as he added another condition, the stakes. Xiao Chun, don't tell me that you do not even dare to accept this bet. That will make me look down on you. Shang Wanlei revealed a smile on his face, not afraid that Xiao Chun would not accept it. Everyone exclaimed. This bet seemed somewhat big. The fiendish demon battlefield opened once every 20 years. Just a small gain could change a person's life. If Xiao Chun could not enter, then the loss would be too great. These people had gathered here to discuss the fiendish demon battlefield. Xiao Chun said calmly, if you insist on doing this, there is nothing I cannot accept. At most, I will just defeat him again. Are you sure that you can defeat me? Whoosh! Just at this moment, a figure soared through the air. The little thunder saber Feng Yu suddenly appeared and landed on top of a stone pillar. Bathed in the light of the thunder flame, Feng Yu showed a stern expression. His entire being gave off an unfathomable aura. Xiao Chun frowned slightly. The other party had already broken through to peak minor primal core realm. However, it would be difficult for him to defeat Xiao Chun with just this. Hua Yunfeng's expression changed slightly. Then, his gaze fell on the saber in Feng Yu's hand. There is something wrong with that saber. Xiao Chun, use my saber then. A purple flame sect true inheritor took out his saber, wanting to hand it to Xiao Chun. This true inheritor saber was a superior grade treasure tool forged from divine materials. It was incredibly sharp and could provide the user with many other wondrous uses. Thank you. Xiao Chun rejected the other party's help. Then, he leaped into the air and landed on a stone pillar, facing the little thunder saber Feng Yu. How could he borrow someone else's saber for his final battle? Chapter 1676. There were a total of 108 ancient stone pillars in the Thunderflame Plaza. An everlasting thunder flame burned at the top of each stone pillar. The stone pillars were both decorations and part of the lightning guiding formation. Xiao Chun and the little thunder saber Feng Yu each stood on a stone pillar. Both of them were excellent cultivators of the lightning Tao. Not only did the thunder flame not injure the two, but it even benefited them. Normally, they could just sit on it and cultivate. As the little thunder saber Feng Yu looked at the nearby Xiao Chun, his heart raced slightly. His senior brother had deep intentions in arranging this duel for him. Feng Yu had to pick himself up from where he fell. Only by defeating Xiao Chun could he truly get rid of the mental barrier in his heart. For the sake of this duel, his senior brother, Shang Wanlei, had put in a lot of effort. Not only had he sought medicinal pills from his master to raise his cultivation to peak minor primal core realm, but he had also fought with Xiao Chun with the lightning Tao. Before the duel, he had even fought with Xiao Chun with the lightning Tao, exhausting and injuring Xiao Chun. Most importantly, the saber in his hand. I have to win. I have no way out of this duel. When Feng Yu thought about the consequences of losing, his gaze slowly calmed down. In contrast, Xiao Chun appeared calm. However, the thunder flame around him flickered, making his expression look somewhat unsettled. Shangguan Lei showed a sullen gaze, having high hopes for his junior brother. Xiao Chun stood casually on the stone pillar, in no rush to come out. He did not feel any psychological burden in the first place. Furthermore, he happened to be slightly injured and could not exhaust the lightning-attributed energy. On the other hand, Feng Yu kept observing Xiao Chen's openings. At the same time, he raised his aura. As his aura rose, the thunder flame under Feng Yu's feet burned even more fiercely. After 15 minutes, it turned into a 30-meter-long, blazing thunder flame. A strong fighting spirit spread in Feng Yu's heart, and the ground trembled slightly. Everyone could feel his desire for victory and his determination to win. One was a peak minor primal core realm, and the other was a half-step primal core realm. Originally, the victor should have been obvious. However, due to the clash of the lightning Dao between Xiao Chun and Shangguan Lei, everyone sensed Xiao Chen's strength and knew that he could not be underestimated. On the contrary, this made it hard for others to judge who would win and who would lose. A person who could surpass Shangguan Lei in the thunder Dao definitely could not be underestimated. I won't wait any longer. From a beginning to the end, he could not detect any flaws in Xiao Chen's aura. He felt that the other party was like a pool of stagnant water, unchanging even after 1,000 years. Feng Yu lost his patience and leaped out of the raging lightning fire. In the eyes of the many true inheritors, that lightning-fast figure was like a bolt of lightning. They could not see Feng Yu's figure. In the time it took for a spark to fly, Feng Yu drew his saber. The might of the great path of thunder swept out from his body, shocking the surroundings. Everyone was shocked, and quite a few people revealed stunned expressions. This was actually a Dao tool. No, it was a fake Dao soldier, not a real Dao soldier. What was a Dao weapon? It was naturally a weapon that contained the great Dao. At the very least, it contained a complete great Dao. It could allow the owner of a Dao tool to grasp great Dao energy in advance. If it contained the Thunder Dao, then the person wielding the saber would be able to bring out the complete great Dao energy of the Thunder Dao and control the Dao might. To forge a Dao tool, aside from requiring extremely harsh materials, it also required a person who had attained the Dao to nurture and protect it. This would take a long time. If one slacked off, all their previous efforts would go to waste. The saber in Feng Yu's hand was not a true Dao tool. The Dao in it was incomplete. The true inheritors present were all outstanding talents of their sections. They could tell with one glance. Even so, this saber had been nurtured for at least 100 years. Although the Thunder Dao contained in it was incomplete, it was compatible with the cultivation technique that Feng Yu cultivated. Furthermore, given Feng Yu's cultivation, he might not be able to grasp a true Dao tool. Such a fake Dao tool could be perfectly grasped. Controlling it would be easy, making it easier for him to bring out his full potential. Xiao Chun is going to lose. The moment this saber appeared, many people immediately came to this conclusion. They shook their heads slightly, finding it unfortunate. Even Xiao Chun revealed a surprised expression when he saw a Dao tool for the first time. Unexpectedly, a Dao tool was so miraculous. When Feng Yu saw the surprised expression on Xiao Chen's face, he revealed a sinister smile. Using the speed of his charge, he exuded a vast aura. Feng Yu swung his saber at Xiao Chen's head. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Before the saber light landed, the strong saber technique caused cracks to appear in the stone pillar under Xiao Chen's feet. Several rocks fell off. This saber technique was as heavy as a mountain. Not only did the stone pillar under Xiao Chen find it unbearable, but also compressed the air, making breathing difficult. Xiao Chen instantly drew the lunar shadow saber and did not hesitate to swing it. This saber strike arrived first despite being launched later. The saber flickered with an autumn water-like luster. Although the light was not bright, it was still very dazzling and eye-catching. For the sake of blocking Feng Yu's saber strike, Xiao Chun did not dare to underestimate it, using his full power. The Taiji diagram formed by Yin essence energy Yang essence energy and veritable essence energy in Xiao Chen's dantian spun slowly. Shadows flashed in the surroundings, forming an even larger Taiji diagram. Dang! The two sabers clashed, producing a startling clang that shook everyone's eardrums. It was even louder and crisper than thunder. Feng Yu took a step back. He felt his palm go numb, and his internal organs trembled. His qi and blood surged, and he nearly vomited a mouthful of blood. Xiao Chen was not in a good state, either. After all, the other party's cultivation was high. Furthermore, Xiao Chen controlled the Thunder Dao's Dao might. Without using his Saber Dao's Great Dao energy, Xiao Chen had to use his full power to block this saber strike. Kassier. Suddenly, a crisp sound rang out. Xiao Chen's lunar shadow saber broke in half. That earlier strike already surpassed the limits of what it could endure. Xiao Chen immediately vomited a mouthful of blood, and his complexion paled slightly. When the sword is broken, the man is king. When the saber is broken, the man is king. Swordsmen and bladesmen were independent from cultivators and had their own titles. This was because they had a far greater affection for their weapons than other cultivators. Although the description of a broken sword and a broken saber 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 were exaggerated, they were not far off. With their minds connected, it was hard to avoid severe injuries. Seeing this scene, the Purple Flame sect's Hua Yunfeng's group immediately paled, and they quickly stood up. However, just as they stood up, a strong wind containing tyrannical killing qi surged over. Shangwan Lei smiled coldly as he looked at them without saying a word. His threat went without saying. Ha ha! Before my Dao tool, a medial-grade treasure tool is indeed worthless. Indeed, you cannot withstand a single blow. Xiao Chun, it looks like you are destined to die today. Feng Yu, who originally thought that Xiao Chun would be tricky to deal with, laughed loudly. Heaven is helping me. As he spoke, he charged forward again with a monstrous aura. He simply did not give Xiao Chun any chance to catch his breath. All he wanted was to take advantage of Xiao Chen's weakness to take his life. Buzz! Suddenly, the half-broken lunar shadow saber buzzed endlessly. A cold light flashed in Xiao Chen's eyes. The great Dao might that Xiao Chen had been suppressing for a long time burst out in an instant. The Dao disc behind him quickly condensed into a point and extended 3 meters. Xiao Chen's great Dao might was unleashed to its peak in an instant. The complete Dao might smashed apart the Thunder Dao might that Feng Yu forcibly put up in an instant. His overwhelming aura vanished. The half-broken lunar shadow saber chopped down with the saber Dao's great Dao might. A huge force surged over, and Feng Yu's pseudo-Dao tool flew out of his hand. Whoosh! At some point in time, Xiao Chen's left hand grasped the remaining half of the saber. Blood gathered at the tip of the saber as he ferociously thrust it forward. Nearly the instant Feng Yu's pseudo-Dao tool left his hand, Xiao Chun stabbed it into his chest. Then, he used the momentum to hack it down with a palm strike. Holding the half-broken saber in his hand, Xiao Chun leaped into the air. When he landed, he stomped on Feng Yu's chest. By feigning weakness, Xiao Chun made the other party lower his guard before ending the battle with a lightning-quick strike. In the time it took for a spark to fly, Xiao Chun ended the battle, which should have been a fierce battle, with one move. It was so fast that before many people could react, Xiao Chun had already stepped on Feng Yu, preventing him from getting up. Seeing Feng Yu's unresigned gaze, Xiao Chun said indifferently, I said you don't understand, so you don't understand. How can you change your saber at the last moment before a great battle? So what if I give you a Dao tool? You will not be able to hold it, either. Xiao Chun, you are seeking death. Shangwan Lei roared, enraged. Wind and lightning appeared, surging with thunder and boundless hurricanes as they charged over. Shut up! Xiao Chun raged in his heart. He quickly turned his head back and could not be bothered to suppress the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning in his sea of consciousness. Then a loud sound rang out. That horrifying tribulation lightning in the sky sent down a thick bolt of lightning, striking Xiao Chun. The 108 ancient stone pillars in the Thunder Flame Plaza collapsed. The entire thunder-controlling peak turned chaotic. Electric light flashed everywhere, startling the countless major characters of the Divine Firmament sect. The core of the tribulation lightning that the thunder-controlling peak relied on to survive actually started leaking out uncontrollably. Within the thick pillar of tribulation lightning, Xiao Qin's expression turned exceptionally terrifying. At this moment, Shangguan Lei's strong aura appeared extremely laughable before him. Xiao Qian was like a river before the sea, scaring Shangguan Lei into stopping in his tracks. 6 purple petals spun quickly in Xiao Qian's right eye, locking onto Shangguan Lei. This caused the other party to tremble and feel a pressure of death enveloping him. Right now, the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning was no longer under his control. Even Xiao Qian feared the consequences of executing the divine lightning eye. Furthermore, this Shangguan Lei did not dare to take even half a step forward. Shangguan Lei, I am not here today because I did something wrong to apologize to you. Furthermore, it is not because I, Xiao Qian, am afraid of you. I only want to tell you one thing. Don't treat me, Xiao Qian, as a pushover that you can squash at will. If you anger me, I will kill both of you. Chapter 1677. Xiao Qian stomped on Feng Yu's chest and shocked Shangguan Lei with his lightning-like aura. Then, the tribulation lightning enveloped Xiao Qian. No one dared to doubt Xiao Qian's words. Right now, Xiao Qian was like a thunder god, inspiring fear in all the true inheritors present. No one knew what was going on with the terrifying lightning-attributed energy in Xiao Qian's body. To think that it actually triggered the lightning core of the Divine Firmament sect's sovereign tribulation lightning. In his sea of consciousness, Xiao Qian felt the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning slowly absorbing it. More accurately, it should be devouring, slowly swallowing up the tribulation lightning. Furthermore, this was not an ordinary tribulation lightning, but a lightning core, the core source of the tribulation lightning. Under the stimulation of this lightning core, the bottleneck of Xiao Qian's cultivation loosened somewhat. Xiao Qian's body did not explode and die as he expected. Although this was a good thing, he could sense many of the Divine Firmament sect's major characters flying towards Thunder controlling peak. Xiao Qian did not dare to go overboard. Otherwise, it would be very difficult for him to leave. Xiao Qian used his greatest willpower to suppress the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning once more. Aside from fearing the Divine Firmament sect Star venerates, Xiao Qian also feared that his physical body might not be able to endure absorbing too much tribulation lightning. After a while, the pillar of electric light encasing Xiao Qian vanished. Then, Xiao Qian kicked Feng Yu, who was on the ground, and took the other half of the 10,000 tribulation divine lightning. After a while, the pillar of lightning enveloping Xiao Qian disappeared. Xiao Qian kicked Feng Yu, who was on the ground, and took the opportunity to pick up the other half of the saber. Feng Yu was severely injured, but his foundations were not damaged. He would recover after some time. Shangguan Lei stepped forward and quickly caught Feng Yu. Then, he checked on Feng Yu's injuries. But after this battle, it would be hard to get rid of the shadow in Feng Yu's heart. His future might be ruined. Feng Yu was defeated by a broken saber. Furthermore, he held a falsed-out tool. No one would be able to accept such a result. As Shangguan Lei looked at Xiao Qian, rage burned in his eyes, nearly spewing out. However, he did not dare to act rashly. Earlier, Xiao Qian already revealed his strength. At the very least, Shangguan Lei could not clash head-on with him in this thunder-controlling peak. Most importantly, Xiao Qian's last words caused his heart to palpitate. Xiao Qian's strength was much stronger than he had imagined. The reason why Xiao Qian dared to come to the thunder-controlling peak was not because he wanted to apologize or resign himself to humiliation. Xiao Qian wanted Shangguan Lei to understand that he could not rely on his higher cultivation to do whatever he wanted. He wanted to point out and humiliate Xiao Qian by name. Impossible. Xiao Qian exuded a spirit that said he would rather die in glory than live in disgrace. and it caused the hearts of every true disciple present to tremble. If anyone wanted to hit on him, they would have to think twice. I was too heavy-handed and offended you. Shangwanlei, remember your promise. Farewell. Since he had achieved his goal, there was no need for Xiao Chen to stay any longer, nor was he willing to stay any longer. He turned around and flew back. Looking at Xiao Chen's departing figure, every single one of the true disciples felt a wave of disbelief, and they did not dare to imagine it. Just a half-step primal core cultivator trampled on the little thunder saber and clashed with Shangwanlei, and he could still leave safely. After this battle, Xiao Chen's name would definitely shake the 3 blessed lands, attracting the attention of the true inheritors of the various sections. Furthermore, Shangwanlei's WeChat would definitely suffer a huge blow, no longer as famous as before. Hua Yinfeng smiled faintly. Now, he discovered that he was completely wrong. This Xiao Chen did not need his protection at all. Xiao Chen did not come here to resolve the conflict between him and Shangwanlei. This was because Hua Yinfeng knew that there was no way to resolve this. Shangwanlei was a vengeful person, proud and arrogant, not letting Hua Yinfeng see his strength. When Shangwanlei looked at you, he would always look down on you, treating you like a soft persimmon that he could squash at will. Xiao Chen only wanted to prove one thing by coming here. Do not provoke him. If you provoked him, you would not have a good time, either. No one would care about the pleas of the weak. Only the rage of an expert could deter others, instilling fear in the other party, preventing them from acting rashly. This was the truth of the world. It had never changed. Not long after Xiao Chen left Thunder Controlling Peak, he discovered that he could not move. Several invisible wills of soul directly locked down the entire space. Xiao Chen froze in the air, unable to advance or retreat. In front of him, there were several old men with blurry figures in midair, looking at him coldly. How bold of you! You nearly destroyed the foundation of my divine firmament sect. Yet you want to leave just like that? Speak. Who sent you? What method did you use to destroy the lightning core of the King Tribulation Lightning? Cold, ferocious roars entered Xiao Chen's soul. His mind buzzed in extreme discomfort. Xiao Chen cursed in his heart. To think that this group of cloud, sea, old fogies actually attacked him. Just as Xiao Chen was at a loss, a thunderous voice rang out in the sky. Let him leave. Since when did my divine firmament sect fall to such a level? The moment this voice rang out, the several old men blocking Xiao Chen showed somewhat unsightly expressions. But Martial Uncle Xiang, he destroyed the lightning guiding formation and absorbed a lot of tribulation lightning cores. Humph, are you trying to embarrass Yi Zifeng? That person coldly snorted, and the few old men immediately felt waves of fear. Their scalps went numb, and they didn't dare to say another word. Xiao Chen immediately felt relaxed. After some analysis, he realized that the person who spoke was the Thunder Saber Xiang Tian. This Thunder Saber Xiang Tian truly lived up to being one of the Grave Sea's 10 great bladesmen, equal to senior brother. Just this boldness alone was much greater than that of these star venerates. As his body moved freely, Xiao Chen didn't say anything and directly left this place of trouble. When he saw the peak of the Purple Flame sect, he completely relaxed. Fortunately, he did not absorb too much of that lightning core. Otherwise, the Thunderblade Xiang Tian might not have shown himself. Landing at the foot of the mountain, Xiao Chen reported his identity. After a quick check, he was let through. The red-clad administrator, whom Xiao Chen had met when he first arrived, personally came out to welcome him. Huh, Brother Xiao. No, Martial Granduncle, we meet again. Administrator, he appeared exceptionally warm. After the matter, Yi Zifeng had indeed given him and that white-bearded old man a big gift. Even the sect master personally instructed him to take good care of this junior brother of Yi Zifeng. Martial Granduncle, did you fight? Administrator, he asked casually when he saw Xiao Chen go out. Xiao Chen did not hide it. I went to the Divine Firmament Sect's Thunder Controlling Peak. The red-clad administrator revealed a doubtful expression. Thunder Controlling Peak? I heard that Shangwan Lei is gathering the true inheritors of the various sects today to discuss the alliance in the fiendish demon battlefield. Xiao Chen nodded and said, I'm one of the people invited. The red-clad administrator recalled the recent news of Xiao Chun defeating the Little Thunder Saber. Then, he looked at Xiao Chen's travel-weary appearance. He thought that Xiao Chun would not have a good ending if he went a thunder-controlling peak and faced Shangwan Lei, so he immediately dropped this topic. Xiao Chen was rather relaxed and did not mind. The battle of the lunar shadow, sealing the saber, was over. Xiao Chen had tossed aside all the burdens of the past and set out on a lighter journey. The most important thing was that although the earlier battle only lasted 2 moves, it was delightful achieving his goal. Oh, right. Administrator, do you know where most of the inner sect disciples cultivate? I do. I'll bring Marshal Granduncle there. There's no need to be so polite. I'll go over myself. As the opening of the fiendish demon battlefield approached, Xiao Chen recalled that he still had an agreement with a certain girl. He was going to bring her to the fiendish demon battlefield and work together. Halfway there, Xiao Chen happened to see a group of inner sect disciples walking over. When he looked up, he happened to see Yang Qing among them. Xiao Chen immediately felt that this was a coincidence. Just as he was about to look for the other party, he ran into them. When Yang Qing saw Xiao Chen, she showed a stunned expression. She greeted Zhou Wei and Zhou Wei's senior brothers and sisters before quickly walking over. I thought that you were no longer in the Purple Flame sect. During this period, I asked around among the outer sect and inner sect disciples, but there was no sign of you. Where did you go? When Yang Qing saw Xiao Chen, she found this strange. Then she rejoiced. Me? I have a senior brother here. During this period, I've been staying with him, Xiao Chen said directly, not hiding anything. Yang Qing asked doubtfully, Senior brother? What senior brother has such a high status that he can directly take in an outsider? Oh, I understand. Yang Qing's voice stopped. She thought that Xiao Chen might not have passed the test and was forced to stay in the sect to do odd jobs. She had heard that true inheritors in the sect could take in servants. Those servants' treatment was no worse than that of outer sect disciples. Finding this strange, Xiao Chen asked, I haven't said anything yet. What do you understand? Yang Qing feared hurting Xiao Chen's sore spot. She smiled and said, It's fine. I understand. I'm already in the top 10 of the inner sect and obtained the right to enter the fiendish demon battlefield. Will your senior brother bring you there? Xiao Chen shook his head and said, My senior brother will not go, but he managed to obtain a spot for me. Upon hearing that, Yang Qing was even more certain of her guess. For him to be able to obtain a spot for Xiao Chen, he had to be a true inheritor. It looks like you're doing well. In that case, I can rest assured. The agreement of alliance still stands. When you go to the fiendish demon battlefield, senior sister, junior brother, and I will take care of you. Yang Qing saw that Xiao Chen was still a half-step primal core cultivator and that she had improved rapidly in the sect in the past 2 months. Yang Qing felt that her strength already surpassed Xiao Chen's. However, she still remembered the agreement and had no intention of giving up on Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen laughed hoarsely. In that case, many thanks for your care. You could go first. I think your companions are getting impatient waiting. All right, see you in the fiendish demon battlefield. Chapter 1678. 3 days later, the matter of Xiao Chen defeating the Little Thunder Saber at Thunder Controlling Peak and calmly leaving in front of Shangwan lay spread throughout the 3 Blessed Lands. The various sects in the Blessed Lands all knew of this white-robed bladesman who dared to tyrannically trample on the Little Thunder Saber before Shangwan lay, not giving him any face at all. What was even more terrifying was that Shangwan lay actually let Xiao Chen leave, not daring to make a move despite his anger. Who was Shangwan Lei? He was the strongest true inheritor of the Black Cave Mountain, a late-stage major primal core cultivator just 1 step shy of breaking through to peak major primal core. Even an ordinary star venerate might not succeed in killing Shangwan Lei. Shangwan Lei was tyrannical and arrogant, seeking revenge for the smallest grievance. However, he was such a ruthless person who had been famous in the Grave Sea for a long time. Shangwan Lei watched as Xiao Chen left, not daring to say anything at all. This was simply inconceivable. This piqued everyone's curiosity about this white-robed bladesman's identity. Back at the Purple Flame sect, Xiao Chun did not know that he had already caused a huge commotion in the three blessed lands. Xiao Chun was currently making one final push to enter the fiendish demon battlefield, continuing his preparations. Back then, after Xiao Chun said his goodbyes to Yang Qing and the others, he formally sealed the lunar shadow saber away. From then on, he would no longer care about any of his past glory. He would only bury his pride deep in his heart. The tribulation lightning he absorbed at thunder-controlling peak not only loosened his bottleneck, but also raised his Thunder Dao cultivation by another level, reaching the peak of the Thunder Domain. The next step was to break through and grasp the Thunder Dao. More importantly, Xiao Qin's divine lightning, I was about to break through the third layer and reach the fourth layer. This was an unexpected, joyous matter. The cultivation of the divine lightning, I was abnormally slow. With every increase in layer, its might would undergo a tremendous change. This was especially so after the third layer. The third layer of the divine lightning, I could only overlap 6 bolts of tribulation lightning. However, the fourth layer could overlap 10 bolts of tribulation lightning. Its might would undergo a tremendous change. For the past 3 days, Xiao Chun had been anxiously trying to make a breakthrough. If he succeeded, he would have a chance to enter the fiendish demon battlefield and show off his abilities. He would no longer fear a head-on clash with the top 10 true inheritors of the 3 blessed lands. Meanwhile, in the heaven-shaking mountains' blessed land, a doorplate with the words Confucian Institution flickered above the clouds of the 2 main peaks. It was faintly discernible, like a courtyard in a fairyland. The memorial tablets of many Confucian predecessors and sages stood in the Confucian Institution's imperial ancestral temple. A portrait of the martial epic's Confucian sage hung on the wall. Yueming, in this fiendish demon battlefield, if you want to obtain the fortuitous encounter left behind by that divine vein expert, you should go to the fiendish demon battlefield. Your chances should be very high. However, if you fight Shangwan Lei head-on, your chances of victory are still only 50%. As for that profound light temple Zhen Yuan, I have to admit that this little monk is the strongest of the 3 of you. In the study of the imperial ancestral temple, an ethereal voice that contained a righteous aura came from outside. A young man dressed like a Confucian scholar was in the study. He exuded a righteous aura and wore a carefree scarf on his head. His temperament was free and easy, giving off an ethereal feeling. He was holding a book and calmly reading it. When he heard the words outside the room, he slowly put the book down. This person was the strongest true inheritor of the heavenly shaking mountain, Wang Yueming. The righteous aura on Wang Yueming's face turned into a proud sharpness that spread out. Mister, although that Shangwan Lei is the strongest true inheritor of the Black Cave Mountain, it is undeniable that he is bold, but not astute, arrogant, and conceited. However, I am more concerned about the Purple Flame sect's Hua Yinfeng. This person is the one who truly hides his strength. There is also our heavenly shaking mountains Cloud Mountain Academies by you. Her righteous aura is no weaker than mine. However, the hardest to shake would still be that group of people from the Padala Mountain. The Buddhist sect's cultivation techniques are a greater deterrent to fiendish demons than the supreme techniques of my Confucian sect. You are rather open-minded. Recently, a newcomer appeared in the Purple Flame sect. He defeated the Little Thunder Saber in one move and even left calmly before Shangwan Lei. You have to pay more attention to him. Wang Yueming entered deep thought. There are really a lot of newcomers recently. Not long ago, I heard that there was a disciple with the Yin cohort in the Patala Mountain's Profound Light Temple. In a debate about Buddhist principles, he defeated a senior monk with the Xian cohort. Although these people are not strong enough, they might still be variables. You have to be careful. As Wang Yueming spoke, the old man outside silently walked in. Whoosh! The old man stretched out his hand, and a folding fan silently landed in Wang Yueming's hand. Wang Yueming was startled. The instant the folding fan entered his hand, he found it incredibly heavy. With one look, he could tell that the ribs of the fan were not ordinary wood. It even contained a profound aura. However, it was not a Dao tool or a Dao tool. Wang Yueming gently opened the folding fan and saw 2 simple lines of a poem written on it. A loyal heart for all eternity, bright like the sun and moon. A body of righteousness writes the spring and autumn. Master used 20 years to write these words. With this aid, you will definitely be able to gain something in the fiendish demon battlefield. Wang Yueming's expression turned grave. He immediately knew how precious this folding fan was. His teacher had spent 20 years on it. Every word contained his teacher's spirit, qi, and spirit, containing the purest righteous aura of the Confucian sect. Divine Firmament Sect, Thunder Controlling Peak. Above the Thunder Flame Plaza, Shangwan Lei looked at the majestic figure in front with his back facing him, not daring to raise his head. Everyone says that the disciples of my line are bold, but not astute, arrogant, and conceited. No matter how strong they are, they're just boorish men. However, they do not understand that if one cultivates the Thunder Tao like others, considering everything carefully and acting cautiously, how can one comprehend the true meaning of thunder? The Thunder Tao should be arrogant and proud in the first place. Only then can one bring out the tyrannical, true meaning of thunder to its fullest. 3 days ago, the lightning guiding formation was broken, and the Tribulation Lightning's lightning core was destroyed. Someone left a heart demon in your junior brother. I do not blame you, Shangwan Lei. I only blame you for not having the courage to charge up at the very end. The Thunder Saber Xiang Tian enunciated every word. Every word struck Shangwan Lei's heart and soul, making him feel exceptionally unbearable. Master, Shangwan Lei knows his mistake. Where's the mistake? Afraid of death, Shangwan Lei lowered his head and whispered, feeling somewhat sullen. At that moment, when Shangwan Lei faced Xiao Chen's questioning and the power of the lightning tribulation, he had indeed felt death approaching. If Shangwan Lei forced himself to attack, it would definitely end in mutual destruction. He could not accept that. In that case, you can die now. Bang! The Thunder Saber Xiang Tian turned around and struck Shangwan Lei with a palm strike without any warning, sending him flying and landing in a sorry state. This startled Shangwan Lei. He felt a horrifying and terrifying lightning restriction planted in his body. When other people's disciples go to the fiendish demon battlefield, their master will give them all sorts of tools. I will only give you one restriction. The moment you enter the fiendish demon battlefield, it will activate. If you cannot break through to peak major primal core realm in half a month, you will explode and die. Every night, before your cultivation improves, you will suffer from the torture of lightning. Xiang Tian continued. If you are not willing, I can remove the restriction now. Shangwan Lei did not hesitate to fall to one knee. This disciple understands Master's intentions. I will definitely not let you down. The Thunder Saber Xiang Tian nodded slightly. Before you go and check on your junior brother. It is just a heart demon. If he can walk out of it, his accomplishments will be even greater. He possesses the bloodline of the great desolate Eon's 10,000 races and is innately compatible with the Thunder Tao. It would be a pity to cripple him. Yes, the opening of the fiendish demon battlefield approached. The top 10 true inheritors of the 3 blessed lands all received instructions from their masters. However, Xiang Tian was the only one who directly gave his disciple a life-ending restriction. Time flew. The opening of the fiendish demon battlefield drew closer. Xiao Chen finally broke through to the 4th layer of the divine lightning eye. With a thought, for purple petals spun rapidly in his right eye. I did it. Joy appeared on Xiao Chen's face. He felt even more confident about his trip to the fiendish demon battlefield. He also vaguely anticipated it. Once the fiendish demon battlefield opened, the inner sect elites, core disciples, and true inheritors of the 100 peak rank 3 sects of the 3 blessed lands and several rank 4 sects would all pour in. In the blessed lands, any 3rd grade sect's inner sect disciple could stand on their own and be comparable to the elders of other sects when they traveled outside. However, the fiendish demon battlefield would welcome hundreds of elites to kill and obtain fortuitous encounters. The intensity of the competition made one's blood surge just thinking about it. Who in the martial Tao did not desire to stand out among the elite outstanding talents, obtain fortuitous encounters, and rise up? Chapter 1679. There were only 2 days left before the fiendish demon battlefield opened. Xiao Chun asked Ling Yu about the situation in the fiendish demon battlefield. The two of them had their own expectations for the fiendish demon battlefield. Since his martial uncle asked, Ling Yu naturally told him everything he knew. Martial uncle, I have never been to the fiendish demon battlefield, either. However, some of the senior and junior brothers in the sect who have been there left detailed information. First of all, this fiendish demon battlefield is an independent world, boundless. Even now, the fiendish demon battlefield has not been completely explored. Based on what we know, there are a few places with the greatest attraction. The first is the 10,000 Weapon Pavilion. The 10,000 Weapon Pavilion contains all the weapons that the Divine Vein Powerhouse collected. There are profound weapons, treasure weapons, Tao tools, and even eternal divine weapons. The Divine Vein Powerhouse has lived for who knows how long. Even now, he has collected many weapons. The weapons that he collected, be they profound weapons or treasure weapons, are all peak quality. As for Tao tools, even the most inferior ones are Tao tools. In the outside world, Tao tools are priceless, supreme treasures. Xiao Chun understood now. A Tao tool contained a complete Tao. It would take 100 years or even several hundred years to nurture one. The value of any Tao tool was inestimable. Even rank 4 sects did not have many Tao tools. Being able to obtain a Tao tool in the 10,000 Weapon Pavilion was indeed a great fortuitous encounter. It would be of great help to raising one's strength. However, in the past 1,000 years, only 2 Tao tools have been circulated. It is simply too difficult to obtain a Tao tool. The restrictions left by the Divine Vein Powerhouse are always like this. The higher the value, the more horrifying the restrictions. Ling Yu paused for a moment before continuing. Next is the 10,000 Flower Garden. There are all sorts of herbs and immortal flowers in there. Spirit plants that are thousands of years old or even tens of thousands of years old can be seen everywhere. There is also the 10,000 Book Pavilion, which contains all sorts of cultivation techniques and martial techniques that the Divine Vein Powerhouse collected in his lifetime, including the Buddhist, Taoist, and Confucian sections. These 3 great lands of fortuitous encounters have always been the favorite places of true inheritors. The competition there is the greatest, and the fortuitous encounters there are also the greatest. Aside from that, there are also many places of fortuitous encounters, such as the Buddhist Seeking Platform, Tao Comprehension Mountain, Black Flame Mountain, Frost Lake. The treasures hidden in those places are all different. Xiao Chun entered deep thought. This fiendish demon battlefield was much larger than he imagined. Indeed, this was an independent world. The means of that Divine Vein Powerhouse were truly incredible. Right? There's still some forbidden areas that Martial Uncle should pay attention to. The forbidden area was not to be barged in. 9 out of 10 people who went in never returned. How about this? I'll help Martial Uncle get a jade slip. I'm afraid I'll forget some important information just by relying on my memory. To be cautious, Ling Yu felt that it would be better to thicken his skin and ask for a jade slip for his martial uncle to look at. He had always been an impatient person. Once he made up his mind, he hurriedly left. This stunned Xiao Chun somewhat. Just as he wanted to ask what was going on with the fiendish demons in the fiendish demon battlefield, he disappeared. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, the fiendish demon battlefield that the 3 blessed lands had anticipated for 20 years finally opened again. Boom! The region of sea where the 3 blessed heavenly lands intersected gave off a world-shaking, boundless might. No matter which sect was in the depths of the blessed lands, they all saw an island rising from the sea and hovering in the sky. The island itself was shrouded in pitch-black fog. However, the multicolored light above the island was very colorful. Spiritual energy spread out, forming a strong contrast. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, countless figures soared into the sky and rapidly flew toward the island. All of them had extremely excited expressions on their faces. There were 30-odd people from the Purple Flame sect qualified to enter the fiendish demon battlefield. There were 5 true inheritors, 20 core disciples, and the top 10 elites of the inner sect. The fiendish demon battlefield was extremely dangerous. Although there were many fortuitous encounters, those who were not strong enough would just be sending themselves to death if they went. There was a total of 33 sects in the entire Black Cave Mountain. That was about 600 or 700 people. With the 3 blessed lands added together, there were about 2,000 disciples participating in the fiendish demon battlefield. Xiao Qin's group had gathered at the summit long ago. With Hua Yunfeng in the lead, they flew to that island together. The island in the sky looked very close. However, when they set off, they discovered that it was actually quite a distance away. After leaving the Black Cave Mountain, the group continued flying for 1 hour before arriving near the island. Fortunately, these were all sect elites. Under the influence of the Starry Sea's gravity, flying for 1 to 4 hours was nothing. Xiao Chan casually sized up the place and happened to notice Yang Qing. She found it strange that he was in the middle of a group of core disciples. Xiao Qin gave her a friendly smile as a greeting. Then he shifted his gaze to the black foggy island. The entrance to the fiendish demon battlefield was there. Although it looked like an island on the outside, it was astonishingly large. The island hidden in the fog was somewhat illusory at first, giving off the illusion that it was a mirage. However, the dense black fog slowly thinned, and some scenes on the island started to appear. The most eye-catching thing was naturally the entrance to the fiendish demon battlefield, the ancient and mysterious gate. It was unknown what the gate was made of. It was covered in rust and appeared very ancient. A statue of a great desolate Ian holy beast stood on each side. Although it was a statue, it gave off a very lively feeling, appearing very realistic. It gave off a dignified aura. Everyone waited patiently. Once the time was up, that mysterious gate would open automatically. Why are those monks not here yet? Ling Yu muttered in a soft voice. Only the sects of the Black Cave Mountain and the Heavenly Shaking Mountain had arrived, each in a different location. Xiao Chen also felt curious. He wanted to see how strong and dressed the orthodox Buddhist sects of the Great Thousand Realms looked like. They are here, Ling Yu said softly as he looked into the distance. He saw a group of bald monks in the distance, wearing Buddhist monk robes. Under the lead of a monk with bronze-colored skin, a square face, and a serious expression, they were rapidly approaching the island. These monks stood on golden lotus platforms, flying in the air with exceptional ease. Now, all the elites and outstanding talents of the 3 blessed lands had gathered together. That monk is the Profound Light Temple's Zhen Yuan. I heard that he is the strongest true inheritor of the 3 blessed lands. He is even stronger than Shangwan Lei and Wang Yueming. That is what the rumors say. However, no one has seen them truly fight before. Ling Yu, who was beside Xiao Chun, whispered, "He cultivates the Diamond Prajna Sutra and already condensed an Arhat Dharma body many years ago. His Diamond Prajna palm is extremely tyrannical." Xiao Qin secretly paid attention, but could not make out much. That Zhen Yuan did not smile, and his expression was stern. Zhen Yuan did not leak any of his aura, looking like an ordinary novice monk with nothing special about him. However, Shangwan Lei and Wang Yueming cast their gazes on this Zhen Yuan monk at nearly the same time. Xiao Chun looked around and fixed his gaze on Wang Yueming, the strongest true inheritor of the Heavenly Shaking Mountain. As he held a folding fan in his hand, he exuded a graceful air, appearing scholarly and otherworldly. This fan seems to be extraordinary. Xiao Chun entered deep thought as he muttered to himself. As they were about to enter the fiendish demon battlefield, Xiao Chun carefully observed the true inheritors of the various sections. If there was anything he needed to pay attention to, he would secretly memorize the appearance. Who was that person? Suddenly, Xiao Chun discovered a white-clad monk not far away from that Jin Yuan monk. This monk had delicate features and held Buddhist prayer beads in his hand, giving off a gentle and casual feeling. The two looked at each other. That person smiled faintly at Xiao Chun, confusing him. Do I know him? Doubts filled Xiao Chen's heart. There did not seem to be such a person in his memories. He had never interacted with monks before. Strange, Xiao Chen muttered to himself. However, he kept an eye out for this person. At the same time, Ling Yu introduced the strong, true inheritors of the various sects to Xiao Chun, focusing on the top 10 of the 3 blessed heavenly lands. Kasie, the ancient and mysterious gates on the island automatically opened. An ancient and desolate aura came from within, accompanied by terrifying roars. The fiendish demon battlefield officially opened. Chapter 1680. Xiao Chun came to this conclusion because a male purple flame sect disciple was currently trying to persuade Yang Qing to join his team. Who are you? The destination was the same. This was really a coincidence. This would save them a lot of trouble. There were all sorts of complicated environments. Of course, most of the places were ancient and desolate. However, that was true. Yang Qing stood up and walked over to Xiao Chen's side, explaining softly. Xiao Chun showed shock on his face. The other party's way of thinking was rather unique. However, it was rather compatible with Xiao Chun. If not for the fact that he had agreed to the other party before entering the sect, it would not be wrong. It would be true that fiendish demons could be seen everywhere. Never mind, I'll put these minor details aside for now. Xiao Chun asked, do you intend to move with just the 2 of us? Bang! The 2 palms clashed. Senior Brother Wu paled and took 3 steps back. Someone behind him caught him. The moment Xiao Chun stepped through the door, he immediately felt a vast, mighty force everywhere. The space here was clearly of a higher level than that of a blessed land. Suddenly, a strange thought appeared in Xiao Chen's mind. I couldn't tell that you're quite popular. The danger was clear. After the other party was far away, Xiao Chun smiled and said, your charm is really great. If I were not capable, I might have fallen earlier. These were the 3 most popular places. The temptation was the greatest, and the competition was the most intense. Yang Qing felt that she had good judgment. Xiao Chen also believed that she would not be wrong in recognizing people. You as well. Now, Xiao Chen verified his guess. This Yang Qing hid a lot of her strength. After giving instructions, Hua Yinfeng led the true inheritors away, leaping up and disappearing from where they were. The fiendish demon battlefield was fraught with danger. Immediately, Ling Yu fell heavily to the ground, his bones nearly shattering. He lay on the ground in agony, moaning in pain. Martial uncle, given our physiques, there is no need to waste time here. Ling Yu possessed a great desolate Ian bloodline in the first place. Furthermore, he had refined the golden life juice source. His physique was no weaker than a true inheritor's. You're going to the Buddha-seeking platform as well? Yang Qing asked curiously when she saw the expression on Xiao Chen's face. Xiao Chun stretched out his hand, preparing to knock Xiao Chun unconscious. After entering the fiendish demon battlefield, there were no rules. Xiao Chun shook his head and said, I'm afraid I can't travel with you. I have to go to the Buddha-seeking platform. The inner sect disciple who was addressed as Senior Brother Wu turned to look at Xiao Chun and asked in confusion. A place that contained fortuitous encounters, treasures, and inheritances would definitely be accompanied by many dangers. Indeed, with one more person taking care of this fiendish demon battlefield, it will definitely be safer. Xiao Chun sweated in his heart. The other party really thought too much. If Xiao Chun wanted to obtain a Dao tool, he would have to clash with the peak true inheritors. Now is not the time. Go. Half-step primal core? So that was how it was. No matter who you found to open the back door, to stay here properly, you have no right to speak in the fiendish demon battlefield. Ling Yu smiled and said, I haven't thought about it yet. However, it will definitely be the 10,000 flower garden, the 10,000 book pavilion, or the 10,000 weapon pavilion. I'm waiting for martial uncle to decide. Yang Qing was not surprised at the strength Xiao Chen displayed. She smiled and said, I just knew that my judgment would not be wrong. You probably evolved by becoming a true inheritor's servant and just endured it for a while. As for Xiao Chun, that went without saying. Naturally, Xiao Chen's first choice for practicing the Mahamaya abstinence violation saber technique was the Buddhist holy land of the fiendish demon battlefield, the Buddhist seeking platform, to improve his saber technique further. Furthermore, he had the support of the Buddhist Saraira pearls. Compared to ordinary people, his chances of finding fortuitous encounters in the Buddhist seeking platform were much greater. Hua Yunfeng gathered all the Purple Flame sect disciples and looked at them expressionlessly. Yang Qing smiled and rejected. "Thank you, Senior Brother Wu, for your kind intentions." Ling Yu showed an expression of pity. "In that case, I'll leave with the other junior brothers. Martial Uncle, take care." Their physiques were much stronger than those of the core disciples and intersect elites. After sensing for a while, they could barely adapt to the environment here. There was no need to waste time meditating. Xiaochen stood up and acted as if nothing had happened. Then, he went to where the Purple Flame sect's intersect disciples gathered. The 20-odd intersect disciples had formed groups, and only one group had not left yet. Xiaochen nodded and waved the Buddhist Saraira pearls on his wrist. "I have a fate with Buddha." Although many years had passed since the Buddhist seeking platform, some Buddhists might still lingered on it. As Xiao Chun looked at Yang Qing, who could keep up with him, he entered deep thought. The first time he saw her, he felt that she was extraordinary. Xiao Chun said with a smile as he walked over. Whoosh! Senior Brother Wu, whose arm was already completely numb, felt a chill when he saw the smile on Xiao Chen's face. Then, he quickly led the other intersect disciples far away. However, this was no wonder. Xiao Chen's confrontation with Shangguan Lei and the news of his fight with the Little Thunder Saber only spread among the true inheritors and a small portion of the core disciples. Only the true inheritors and a small portion of the core disciples knew about it. The inner disciples still did not know their names. Yang Qing did not know much, so it was hard to avoid making a mistake. Yang Qing nodded. "What's wrong? Are you afraid?" The human heart is hard to fathom. Even in the same sect, having too many people will only result in delays and all sorts of trouble. With these lessons, the latecomers all sat down on the ground and adapted to the might and pressure of this place first. However, Xiao Chun did not move at all. His expression did not change. He smiled faintly and said, "On account that we are from the same sect, I'll overlook this palm strike of yours for now. Quickly scram." Ling Yu was raring to go at the side, clearly excited. His strength had improved greatly, and he had high hopes for the fiendish demon battlefield. "Martial Uncle, let's go as well." The ancient and mysterious doors opened, and the disciples of the various sects immediately rushed to the island. "Junior Sister Yang Qing, come with us then." In this fiendish demon battlefield, Xiao Chun would definitely choose to travel alone. Senior Brother Wu revealed an expression of understanding. He thought that Xiao Chun was a relative of an inner sect elder and that Yang Qing had taken a liking to him because of this relationship. To think that Xiao Chun had hidden so much of his strength. "Where are you going?" Xiao Chun asked. Xiao Chun and Yang Qing traveled side by side. As they rose and landed, they moved quickly, moving at high speed. After bidding each other farewell, Xiao Chun sent off the other party with his eyes. At this moment, many disciples could no longer hold themselves back. They forcefully endured the might and pressure and left the safe zone, preparing to adapt to the environment as they traveled. Whoosh! Whoosh! Fiendish demons filled the place. Every time the fiendish demon battlefield ended, less than half of the disciples returned alive. After arriving at this fiendish demon battlefield, junior brothers will have to search for fortuitous encounters. I will only say one thing. The Purple Flame sect does not like killing its own sect members. If we're discovered, I will personally make a move. He is my companion. Before we entered the main sect, we agreed to work together to roam the fiendish demon battlefield. Let's go then. The ferocious beasts and fiendish demons in that place would more or less be a deterrent. Rest well for now. We will make further plans after we adapt to the environment here. Xiao Chun hid his strength from her, and she hid her strength from him as well. Could she be thinking the same thing as him? However, to Xiao Chen's surprise, Yang Qing did not team up with anyone else. Xiao Chen nodded, and the two followed the crowd and passed through that mysterious door. I'm not afraid. Don't worry. Where are you going? I do not need too many good companions. One is enough. Two is already heaven's blessing. If they went to the 10,000 weapon pavilion, all Ling Yu needed was a good treasure weapon. How could Xiao Qin care about a good treasure weapon? Yang Qing nodded and said, let's go to the Buddha-seeking platform first. We definitely cannot go to the 10,000 weapon pavilion now. There are people everywhere. Even if we obtain fortuitous encounters, it will not be easy to get away. On the other hand, this kind of place that people tend to overlook is safe enough. Even if they had a bad start, they could still put it this way. However, there was a large portion of people who remained calm. Although the fortuitous encounters in this fiendish demon battlefield were great, they were not in a rush. The fiendish demon battlefield sounded like a boundless, desolate battlefield with fiendish demons everywhere. In reality, the depths of the battlefield was a small world. Several cries of pain rang out. It turned out that many sect disciples soared into the air after entering. In the end, they were caught off guard. Unexpectedly, the pressure of the world here was so great. Most importantly, Xiao Qin's goal was different from Ling Yu's. Chapter 1681. After leaving the safe zone enveloped by the mysterious gate, the entire environment immediately changed. A dense, ancient aura surged over, desolate and ancient. There was also a weak but omnipresent fiendish qi. That fiendish qi looked ordinary. However, if one breathed it in for a long time, it would make one irritable, bloodthirsty, and murderous. Xiao Chan did not know where that divine vein powerhouse found such a place and made his resting place. Everyone could find information about the fiendish demon battlefield. As for how much they knew, it would depend on their position in the sect. The jade strip that Ling Yu obtained would definitely be more detailed than what Yang Qing could find. For example, Yang Qing only knew the rough location of this Buddha-seeking platform. However, Xiao Chun knew the specifics. Xiao Chun took out the jade strip and sent his spiritual sense into it. A blurry, three-dimensional map appeared in his vision. Then, he continuously compared the three-dimensional map and finally matched the fiendish demon battlefield with the real world. Xiao Chun muttered the words Buddha-seeking platform in his heart. A flickering red dot immediately appeared in the distance on the three-dimensional map, looking incredibly clear. This was a special map that the Purple Flame Sect Senior Brothers had drawn over a long period of time and integrated into the Jade Strip. Only Rank 4 sects could make such a Jade Strip, and only core disciples could obtain it. Of course, the map was not omnipotent. Most of the places were covered in black fog, places that had not been explored before. Come with me. After confirming the direction, Xiao Chun led Yang Qing forward at full speed. Along the way, the two occasionally ran into elite disciples of the other Holy Lands. After exchanging cautious glances, they carefully left. There were no rules in the fiendish demon battlefield. One had to be wary of fiendish demons, but so did the disciples of the other sections. Bang! Suddenly, the sounds of intense fighting came from a small hill not far in front. Xiao Chen opened his heavenly eye and immediately saw clearly. It turned out that a few disciples had discovered a stalk of strange grass that could raise one's physique. Elite disciples of the various sects continuously joined in to fight the ferocious beasts guarding the natural treasures. Xiao Chan casually glanced at it before ignoring it. He had the life juice source and did not care about this strange grass. As for Yang Qing, she only glanced at it indifferently before ignoring it. They continued on their way. The two purposely increased their speed. However, everyone was restricted in this fiendish demon battlefield, unable to move at full speed. Half a day later, a towering skyscraper surrounded by countless Dao wheels appeared in the duo's sight. Myriad Weapon Pavilion. Yang Qing exclaimed softly, and a hint of passion flashed in her eyes. No one would not be tempted when they saw the countless beautiful Dao wheels. By grasping a Dao tool, one would be able to sense the existence of the Dao in advance. It also had boundless benefits to one's comprehension of the Dao. Owning a Dao weapon was the dream of every disciple. Most importantly, a Dao tool that could catch the eye of a divine vein powerhouse would definitely be of superior grade or peak grade. Perhaps a Dao tool might grasp 2 or even 3 Daos, mutually nourishing each other. Rumor had it that 800 years ago, a disciple of the Divine Firmament Gate obtained a Dao tool that contained 2 Daos. To this day, they were treated as treasures, placed in the Divine Firmament Sect's Divine Weapon Pavilion, and not easily shown to others. As for that disciple who obtained a Dao tool, he advanced to the Cloud Sea realm at a young age, possessing great fortuitous encounters. Over the past 10,000 years, there were many similar legends left behind, attracting the people who came later to the 10,000 Weapon Pavilion. Right now, at least 100 people had already passed by the 2, rushing to the Myriad Weapon Pavilion. "Let's go," Xiao Chun urged indifferently. Confused, Yang Qing asked, "You don't have the desire to go to the Myriad Weapon Pavilion?" "Naturally I do. However, not now. Once I go, I have to take out a Dao tool." Xiao Qin's tone was relaxed, as if he was speaking the truth. Yang Qing smiled and said, "Take out a Dao tool? That's too difficult. Not to mention the competition among many peak true inheritors. Even without competition, subduing a Dao tool would not be easy under the suppression of the Myriad Weapon Pavilion's Dao might." Xiao Qin smiled and did not argue. 4 hours later, a mountain range appeared before the 2. According to the map in the Jade Strip, the Buddha-seeking platform was at the summit. This was the only place in the fiendish demon battlefield that had anything to do with Buddhism. The Buddha-seeking platform produced all sorts of wondrous items with a connection to Buddhism. For example, the famous 5 trees and 6 flowers of Buddhism could be found here. Those were wondrous flowers and fruits that were hard to find in the outside world. They were incredibly precious. Be it monks who cultivated Buddhism or those who cultivated the martial Tao, they would receive great benefits after consuming them. However, it was not easy to go up. The flowers and trees in the mountain were boundlessly messy. Dangerous, ferocious beasts hid everywhere. The way to the summit was on the mountain path. Without any other choice, the 2 could only follow the mountain path to the summit. Several people walked on a mountain path. They all opened their eyes wide as they carefully looked into the depths of the forest. Xiao Chun had the heavenly eye. With a sweep of his gaze, he could easily see every blade of grass and tree in the depths of the forest. Suddenly, the Buddhist Sarara beads on Xiao Chun's wrist gave off a faint heat. Xiao Chun understood. This was the Buddhist Sarara beads forming a strange connection with some kind of wondrous Buddhist flowers and plants. Their Buddhist natures were connected, so there was a connection between them. "Wait for me for a while." After saying that, Xiao Chun followed his senses and entered the forest. The connection intensified, and the Buddhist Sarara beads gave off a weak Buddhist light. Xiao Chun looked around and fixed his gaze on a white flower. 5 petals spread out gracefully. There were large patches of pale yellow on the petals. The alternating yellow and white gave off an exceptionally refreshing fragrance. White jasmine flower, one of the 6 flowers of the Buddhist sect's 5 trees and 6 flowers. Xiao Chun revealed joy on his face. This flower grew on trees and could be consumed orally. Of course, it could be used to brew tea or refine medicinal pills to bring out its effects to the fullest. The white jasmine flower tasted elegant and refreshing. After consuming it, it could directly increase one's cultivation. 1 petal was equivalent to 10 years of cultivation. Of course, the effects would decrease as time passed. However, even if it could not increase one's cultivation in the end, it could stabilize one's cultivation and condense veritable essence energy. To cultivators, this was simply wondrous. To Buddhist sect people, it was even more useful. Not only could it increase one's cultivation, but it could also allow one to understand Buddhist principles, increase one's affinity with Buddhism, and strengthen one's wisdom. Any one of the 5 trees and 6 flowers was innately connected to Buddhism and could strengthen one's wisdom. Xiao Chun leaped up gently and stretched out his hand to pluck this white jasmine flower. However, he sensed that something was wrong. Xiao Chun casually looked around and saw many pairs of scarlet eyes staring at him from the darkness in the depths of the forest. Dodge! After plucking the flower petal, Xiao Chun immediately flashed, fleeing into the forest. Chi! Chi! Sharp cries came from the forest. 4 or 5 small, scarlet macaques bared their teeth as they gave chase. The macaques were astonishingly fast in the forest. Furthermore, they were more accustomed to the environment of the fiendish demon battlefield. Their speed was even faster than Xiao Chen's. Fearing that he would startle some other ferocious beasts, Xiao Chun did not make a move. He executed the new fish dragon art, and a layer of purple flames covered his entire body. Xiao Chun moved like a phantom, knocking down many trees as he charged out of the forest and appeared on a small mountain path. The bloodthirsty macaques that had been chasing him immediately stopped their pursuit. They stood on a tree branch and roared at him endlessly. Xiao Chun had long discovered that this mountain path contained remnant Buddhist might. It was much safer than the forest. In the past, there were believers who bowed with every 3 steps and knelt with every 9, sincerely worshipping Buddha. Indeed, when Xiao Chun arrived on the path, those bloodthirsty macaques immediately stopped chasing. One bloodthirsty macaque was as strong as a late-stage minor primal core cultivator. If Xiao Chun got surrounded in the forest, he would be in some trouble. White jasmine flower. Seeing Xiao Chun appear, the fragrant white jasmine flower in his hand, which was filled with a Buddhist nature, immediately attracted the attention of many people on a mountain path. Damn, what a fellow! He actually managed to escape the bloodthirsty macaques without getting injured at all. He is really lucky. He just arrived, and he already found a white jasmine flower. When they noticed that Xiao Chun was unharmed, many of the people with ulterior motives immediately withdrew their thoughts. It was definitely not as simple as luck for Xiao Chun to emerge unscathed from the forest. Of course, the most important thing was that Xiao Chun wasted this treasure, munching on 3 petals of the white jasmine flower. It tastes pretty good. You should try it as well. Before the envious gazes of the crowd, Xiao Chun gave the remaining 2 petals to the somewhat stunned Yang Qing. Yang Qing ate it just like that. Although the Buddhist sect's 5 trees and 6 flowers could be consumed directly, this was a wondrous herb. Who would be so ungrateful as to consume it directly? Furthermore, it was so careless. Chapter 1682. Unlike those cultivators who risked their lives in the dense forest and searched everywhere, Xiao Chun only needed to rely on his senses to easily find his target. Fortunately, the strange smell would disappear with a gust of wind. Otherwise, it would be quite embarrassing. Compared to the other nervous expressions, it formed a sharp contrast. Only true experts could reap some benefits. Actually, this principle applied everywhere in the fiendish demon battlefield. There is no such thing as a free lunch in this world. After saying that, he shoved it into Yang Qing's mouth. All right, I'll go and meet him. I can't just watch as he destroys our opportunity. Right at this time, a miserable cry attracted Xiao Chun and Yang Qing's attention. Suddenly, something strange happened. A heaven-shaking roar came from the depths of the forest. Countless trees were uprooted. A grade, 3 monasteries monks suggested. Xiao Chun continued walking forward. Soon, he felt the Buddhist prayer beads on his wrist heat up. He revealed a smile and quickly entered the dense forest. Buddhist cultivators were not all kind-hearted people. For many people, Buddhist cultivators and martial cultivators were only a method to become stronger. The white jasmine flower truly had boundless wondrous uses. The profound light temple was different. The largest temple of the Potala Mountain did not fear the purple flame sect at all. I can cultivate Buddhist cultivation techniques and martial techniques to become stronger, but I don't have to abide by the precepts and respect the precepts. Xiao Chun smiled. Take it. This is just the beginning. Senior brother Yin Feng, you are a disciple of the profound light temple. You are no weaker than the purple flame sect. That kid's main strengths are his body movement technique and his strong body. Senior brother Zhending cultivates the greater teleportation body technique and the Vajra indestructible body, which completely restrains him. If he went to the 10,000 flowers garden, the 10,000 weapon pavilion or the 10,000 book pavilion, he would not be able to do so. This MT Seeking Mountain has always been our exclusive property. It's him again. Where did he come from? Seeing that Xiao Qin's harvest was increasing, their dissatisfaction intensified. As they looked at Xiao Qin and Yang Qing's backs, rage flashed in their eyes. What made Xiao Qin even more happy was that his Buddha heart was also strengthened further. The Buddha light between his eyebrows was hidden and not emitted. If not for his long hair fluttering in the wind, one might even mistake him for a monk from a temple. The loss outweighed the gain. For the sake of a white jasmine flower, the strongest of the three, senior brother Ma, ended up half dead, losing the chance to continue obtaining fortuitous encounters. Pucci, whoosh. Xiao Qin was deep in thought. The environment of the jungle was complicated. It was too risky to search inside. After a while, Xiao Qin walked out again with a jasmine flower. After swallowing all 3 jasmine flower petals, the Taiji Inyang True Essence diagram in Xiao Qin's Dantian expanded by 20%. It's a major primal core realm ferocious beast, a black iron demonic ape. Just like that, he walked along the main path towards the Buddha-seeking platform at the peak of the mountain. His harvest alone was more than enough to surpass everyone combined. 5 bald monks were gathered together. Then, he snatched the white jasmine flower from the unconscious man's hand and stomped him to death. Once he succeeded in breaking through, he would be able to make up for it both internally and externally, and his strength would definitely increase by another level. A giant black ape that was 30 meters tall appeared with a roar. However, Xiao Qin did not care. He casually swallowed 3 flower petals and left the remaining 2 for Yang Qing. However, it was not easy to obtain it safely. With a moment of carelessness, he was bitten by the bloodthirsty macaque. His blood immediately flowed out of his body at an alarming rate. Even major primal core venerates could only try their luck outside and see if they could discover the strange plants in the forest on the main road. The eyes of the yellow-faced monk called Yin Feng flashed as he made up his mind. The effect of increasing his cultivation base was not very good. Xiao Qin felt that his cultivation base had only increased by about 20%. Apart from that, Xiao Qin also discovered another effect. After consuming the jasmine flower, his Buddha heart became even stronger. But to Xiao Qin, this place was too interesting. His Sarira Buddhist beads were like a cheat. There were the 5 trees and 6 flowers of the Buddhist sects in the depths of the forest. There were many natural spirit herbs, and the jasmine flower was just one of them. Quick, quick, go and save senior brother Ma. These 2 were late-stage minor primal core cultivators. Facing this black iron demonic ape was somewhat taxing. They executed their martial techniques at the same time and quickly struck the black iron demonic ape. This was far weaker than the legendary 10 years of cultivation increase. This had a lot to do with Xiao Qin reaching a bottleneck in his cultivation. In senior brother Ma's hand, there was only a single jasmine flower. The 2 people who came to his rescue had dim expressions on their faces. The life juice source cleansed Xiao Qin's physical body and strengthened his physique. The jasmine flower strengthened his cultivation and cleansed his veritable essence energy. The 2 complemented each other, one internal and one external, greatly benefiting Xiao Qin. Aside from those who cultivated beneficence, monks who focused on cultivating grand aspirations and incense had very few restrictions in the first place. Firstly, it was a waste. Secondly, it could not be digested quickly. Where did this evil Buddhist monk come from? Xiao Qin showed an angry expression. This was forcing him into a dead end. This strange flower melted the moment it entered his mouth, continuously cleansing his veritable essence energy. The moment Xiao Qin said that, the other monks all nodded in agreement. Yang essence energy and the principles of yin and yang slowly circulated in his body, giving off a faint glow. His entire body was filled with energy. In the dense forest, a young man about 500 meters from the main road was captured by 50 bloodthirsty rhesus monkeys, entering a bitter battle. Yang Qing put away the jasmine flower. However, she did not dare to eat it like Xiao Qin. jasmine flower. However, there were still several bloodthirsty rhesus monkeys behind. Finally, the remaining two fled to the main road and watched as the black iron demonic ape went far away. Aside from the jasmine flower, Xiao Chun harvested all sorts of strange Buddhist flowers and herbs. This was a rewarding journey. Of course, Xiao Chun still focused on the jasmine flower. Xiao Chun was different. He possessed a great desolate Ian bloodline, and his physique had reached the level of a great primal core venerate. Following that, the two seemed to be taking a leisurely stroll through the mountain road. However, every once in a while, Xiao Chun would obtain a strange flower or herb, feeling relaxed and satisfied. Buddhist sect cultivation focused on merit, aspirations, and incense offerings. Actually, this was easy to understand. If monks were monks, they would truly be a group of ascetic monks who did not eat the food of the mortal world. In a world where the strong preyed on the weak, there was no way for them to survive. His companions guarding the main road immediately charged in to save him. The two moved very quickly. However, by the time they arrived, Senior Brother Ma had already fainted. His face was pale, and teeth wounds covered his entire body. When Yang Qing saw Xiao Chen's changes, she muttered in her heart, not understanding what was going on. Roar. As a result, Xiao Chen's body started to emit a strange and unpleasant smell. These were all impurities that flowed out of his veritable essence energy. As Xiao Chun consumed more jasmine flowers, he felt the effects of his veritable essence energy becoming increasingly obvious. As his veritable essence energy was continuously cleansed, it became increasingly clear and crystalline. The impurities were slowly removed. More importantly, his injuries were not something that could be easily healed. What a fellow! A half-step primal core, veritable personage actually monopolized 80% of the strange flowers and herbs in this Buddhist-seeking mountain. Be careful! Just as Xiao Chun obtained another white jasmine flower and prepared to leave the forest, a strong Buddhist might suddenly appeared on the main road. This Buddhist might merge with the strong wind, containing the rage of a guardian deity, wanting to force him back. No matter where one went, a rank 4 sect would have a strong deterrent effect. If the Buddhist-seeking mountain came to settle the score, the monastery they were in would not be able to endure the pressure. Xiao Chun could only say that he had chosen the right place to go to the Buddhist-seeking platform. Xiao Chun had only entered the fiendish demon battlefield for slightly more than a day. His current harvest could be said to be one of the best. The black iron demonic ape's scarlet eyes shone with a spiritual light. Its two palms smashed over like two mountains, sending the two flying. Xiao Chun easily obtained another white jasmine flower. This made the eyes of the other sect disciples searching hard on the main road green with envy. Being able to obtain this white jasmine flower before breaking through to the primal core realm was like heaven helping them. However, the effects of condensing veritable essence energy were very obvious. That Taiji veritable essence energy diagram became more tangible. Clearly, no ordinary person would be able to reap benefits from the forest. Yang Qing shook her head and said, "I did not do much for this white jasmine flower. I don't want it." Xiao Chun had already traversed 2/3 of the mountain road. His harvest was bountiful. This trip was not in vain. However, the black iron demonic ape skin was as tough as steel. The two's attacks could not break through its defense at all. Chapter 1683. Where did this evil monk of the Buddhist sect come from? To think that he was so sinister, sneak-attacking Xiao Chun at his most crucial moment. Xiao Chun did not think too much. He faced the other party's Buddhist might and gathered for cauldron force before throwing a punch. With a deafening bang, the two fists collided, creating a boundless shockwave that rolled out in all directions. Xiao Chun clearly saw that monk's face. His complexion was yellowish, and his skin was bronze. With one look, it was clear that this monk cultivated the Buddhist Vajradharma, giving him an incredibly strong physical body. Indeed, as expected, you are not an ordinary half-step primal core cultivator. The strength of your physical body is really startling. Yin Feng smiled coldly and shouted, However, now, scram back, Yin Feng shouted, and the energy in his fist light increased significantly. Surging vital chi surged out, pressing over like it could topple mountains and flip seas. You are seeking death. Enraged, Xiao Chen narrowed his eyes. Then, he merged his veritable essence, energy, and vital chi and pushed hard. Amid a loud rumble, Xiao Chen pushed Yin Feng back like he was a mountain. After pushing Yin Feng away, the bloodthirsty macaques behind him charged over at this moment. Left without a choice, Xiao Chen could only expose his strength. He used his body as a saber and released the great Tao's might. In the time it took for a spark to fly, Xiao Chen threw 6 punches, his fist lights like sabers. The wind howled, looking like resplendent saber lights blossoming in the depths of the forest. After 6 punches, Xiao Chen knocked back the bloodthirsty macaques. However, such an intense battle attracted the attention of the many ferocious beasts in the depths of the forest. Roar! Roar! Terrifying roars came from the depths of the forest. Xiao Chen sensed several major primal core, ferocious beasts rushing over. He did not dare to linger. With a few flashes, he arrived on the mountain path protected by the Buddhist might. On the other side, Yangqing was surrounded by a group of bald monks. They did not use any killing moves on her, just holding her back, not letting her come over to support Xiao Chen. On the path, Yin Feng looked at Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen had just landed a heavy punch on him, but his body seemed fine. However, his body seemed to be completely fine. He was completely unharmed, and his expression was cold. Benefactor, going too far is as bad as not going far enough. You have to leave him a way out. If you monopolize all the resources of this Buddha-seeking mountain, what will happen to us, the people who entered the fiendish demon battlefield, who worked so hard to enter? Hearing the other party's reasoning, Xiao Chen smiled and said, "According to you, what should I do?" When Yin Feng saw that Xiao Chen seemed to have the intention to negotiate, his expression turned much warmer as he said, "Give us some of the white jasmine flowers and other rare Buddhist herbs you obtained. Let's work together on the Buddhist-seeking platform. With the help of us Buddhists, we can give you more opportunities on the Buddhist-seeking platform. You should also know that compared to the fortuitous encounters on the Buddhist-seeking platform, the flowers and plants in this dense forest are completely not worth mentioning." Xiao Chen did know that there was an ancient temple in the Buddhist-seeking platform that was completely preserved. There were many Buddhist weapons, Buddhist treasures, and even perfectly refined Buddhist pills. In the depths of the monastery, there was a kind of wisdom tea. After drinking it, it could condense a cultivator's soul force. It could increase a major primal core cultivator's chances of breaking through to the Cloud Sea realm. In the past, there was a legend that a Black Cave Mountain disciple obtained the wisdom tea and broke through to the Cloud Sea realm in less than 10 years. However, the Buddha-seeking platform was now occupied by a group of fiendish demons. Fiendish demons were not like ferocious beasts. They were life forms that existed before the martial epoch was formed. They were born after the destruction of the Immortal epoch. After the heavenly court collapsed, the immortal chi went out of control, and all sorts of objects manifested themselves. For example, stones, trees, flowers, and even ordinary livestock. There are all sorts of strange things here. After they manifested themselves, they turned into monsters. They were neither human nor ghost, neither immortal nor demon. They were known as fiendish demons. However, after the destruction of the Immortal epoch, the immortal chi of the heavenly court became impure. Hence, most of the fiendish demons had violent tempers and were bloodthirsty. Before the birth of the martial epoch, fiendish demons had wreaked havoc in the world. Fiendish demons slaughtered the various races. This lasted until the sage ancestors of the Buddhist, Taoist, and Confucian sects appeared and fought with the fiendish demons. Only then did they gain the upper hand, killing the other party and ushering in the martial epoch. In this age, one could no longer run into fiendish demons in the ordinary world. Even if one ran into them in this special place, the bloodlines of the fiendish demons would be diluted, no longer having the might of their ancestors. However, ferocious beasts could not compare to them. Be it in intelligence or strength, ferocious beasts could not compare to fiendish demons. If Xiao Chun wanted to enter and obtain fortuitous encounters, he would be of great help. With the help of the Buddhist sects, it was indeed a great help. The Buddhist sects' cultivation techniques and martial techniques were very effective against fiendish demons. However, based on Yin Feng's expression, it seemed like Xiao Chun had something to ask of him, wanting to hand over the white jasmine flower and the other Buddhist sect herbs. Was that possible? Xiao Chun said coldly, "You are overthinking. If you are willing to work together, I can share some of the benefits from the Buddhist seeking platform with you. However, you can stop dreaming if you want the natural treasures that I obtained along the way." Yin Feng smiled and said, "It's fine. I will soon show you who is the one living in a dream." Whoosh! Yin Feng's figure turned around, and a Buddhist light flowed. Then, he suddenly appeared in front of Xiao Chun. His skin gave off a metallic glow. This was the profound light temple's indestructible iron body, a cultivation technique for the physical body. Xiao Chun's expression did not change. He gently stomped on the ground, and a boundless killing chi surged out together with his aura like a tsunami. Under the suppression of such a strong aura, Yin Feng's speed immediately slowed. A cold light flashed in Xiao Chen's eyes as he attacked at lightning speed. A melodious saber hum resounded in the surroundings. Dang! 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 Xiao Chen sent out 3 hand saber strikes at the same spot, giving off metallic clangs. Yin Feng grunted as he got knocked back 100 meters. He had not expected Xiao Chun to be so strong. Look, the profound light temple's true inheritors are fighting with the purple flame sex people. It's him, that white-clad person. He gained a lot on this Buddhist-seeking mountain. He is very strong. I just guessed that someone would be jealous. Indeed, the profound light temple's people could not resist making a move. Furthermore, it is an early-stage major primal core true inheritor. This is going to be a good show. Xiao Chun was a celebrity in MT Ask Mountain. His every move would attract a lot of attention. Previously, every time he came out of the forest, he would always have a harvest, and it had already caused a commotion. However, due to the Purple Flame sect's reputation and Xiao Chen's strength, they did not have the courage to do so. Now that they saw Xiao Chun fighting with the profound light temple true inheritor, they were not surprised. This Buddha-seeking mountain had always been the exclusive property of that group of monks. I wonder who will win. What else is there to say? It must be that bald monk. After all, he is a true inheritor of the profound light temple. For him to have such a high cultivation base, he must have cultivated his way up. You should know that it is the hardest for a Buddhist to improve their cultivation base. Right? This white-clad bladesman is merely a half-step primal core cultivator. Although his physical body is astonishingly strong and his movement technique is terrifying, he is not a primal core cultivator. However, this profound light temple monk not only has a higher cultivation, but his physical body and movement technique are also no weaker than the white-robed bladesman's. It's hard to say. The white-robed bladesman has not drawn his saber yet. Indeed, only now did the crowd notice Xiao Chun, who was fighting an intense battle with Yin Feng. Even now, Xiao Chun still had not drawn his saber. No one could think of a reason. Why? After Yin Feng was knocked back by Xiao Chun again, he patted his clothes and smiled. Interesting. However, I have already cultivated my indestructible iron body to the 5th layer. With your cultivation, you can forget about injuring me. As long as I land one punch, you will be finished. Xiao Chun frowned slightly. The other party's physical body, combined with the indestructible iron body, was indeed difficult to deal with. Indeed, none of the true inheritors of a rank 4 sect were easy to deal with. If Xiao Chen's cultivation was higher, he would not have to put in so much effort. However, it would only take a little more effort. The other party was not Shangwan Lei, so he would not find it difficult to deal with. Right after Yin Feng spoke, Xiao Chun shot over. He stretched out his hand, and 7 beams of light shot out from his clothes. These are the 7 deadly sins that he had not used for a long time. The 7 sabers each gave off a different state. Under Xiao Chen's control, They merged into one. Then, he stretched out his hand and grasped them tightly. Doubt might appeared. With the saber in hand, Shao Chen's aura suddenly changed, becoming boundlessly tyrannical, swallowing mountains and rivers. The great Tao might immediately put Yin Feng in an extremely difficult position. What saber is this? Yin Feng was somewhat startled. When he saw Shao Chen's aura change, it felt like he was holding a Tao tool. Shao Chun smiled faintly. First, there was a saber god. Then, there's a divine saber. The saber is not important. What is important is the person holding the saber. Don't think that I can't do anything to your body of metal. Chapter 1684. With the saber in hand, Shao Chen's attacks immediately turned sharp. Holding up his saber, Shao Chun did not dodge. He directly chopped at the opening at the left rib of the profound light temple's Yin Feng. There was nothing special about this move. It was just fast, so fast that everyone seemed to see a modeled afterimage. It was as fast as lightning. First came the electric light, then came the thunder. This reminded everyone of what Shao Chen said earlier. First came the saber god, then came the divine saber. The important thing was not the divine saber, but the person who grasped the saber. Shao Chun compared himself to the saber god. Originally, everyone looked down on him. Now, they no longer dared to underestimate him. It was just an ordinary move, but it was an eye-opener for everyone, causing them to cry out in surprise. Facing Shao Chen's careless saber strike, Yin Feng hesitated. He had purposely revealed the opening. Yin Feng had many openings. However, he did not care about them earlier. The indestructible iron body made Yin Feng's physical body incredibly strong, suppressing Shao Chen's physical body. Yin Feng did not feel any pressure when clashing head-on with Shao Chen's fist light and palm saber. As Yin Feng said, he could not injure him at all. However, Yin Feng no longer felt confident when facing this saber strike. Open! Yin Feng shouted. Suddenly, a scripture shining with resplendent golden light flowed on the surface of his skin. His Buddhist might increased greatly, and his indestructible iron body improved further. It was like he truly had the golden Arhut protecting his body. Shao Chun smiled coldly. Everything was within his expectations. Suddenly, he raised his saber and chopped down at the speed of lightning. Then he suddenly stopped. The saber move changed, like a sudden turn of a mountain peak. However, it flowed smoothly, looking wondrous. As Yin Feng raised his saber, it turned into an unending chain of huge waves. The saber light spread out, looking like the huge waves of a long river, one wave after another. By perfectly merging the ferocious mysteries and the chain of attacks, the might of this saber strike appeared boundlessly tyrannical. Even an outsider bladesman could tell that this was extraordinary, indescribably wondrous. Good. Many people cheered in unison. There was practically no one here who could send out such a saber strike. Yin Feng's face immediately sank. He, who was immersed in Shao Chen's saber technique, felt it even more deeply. All of a sudden, it was as if the wasteland had been struck by lightning. Suddenly, it was as if they were in the middle of the ocean, facing the monstrous waves that were thousands of miles long. He was like a lonely boat in the night, looking around without anyone to rely on. Retreat. In the time it took for a spark to fly off a flint, Yin Feng decisively chose to retreat. He also could not let Shao Chen's saber strike his weak point. The consequences would be hard to predict. He only took one step back, and in that one step, he formed a seal with both hands. Between his fingers, a sacred flower bloomed, and seven-colored light filled the air, bringing with it a gentle Buddhist light. As long as the angle deviated, it would not be able to dodge Shao Chen's saber strike. As long as Yin Feng did not strike at his weak point, he was confident that he could block Shao Chen's attack and instantly counterattack. Change! Shao Chun laughed loudly, and his saber technique changed again. He materialized the boundless, surging wave to its limits. Then, he pulled it back, not even a splash of water spilling out. This was another perfect move. The spectators even forgot to praise him. It was indescribably wondrous. Breaking 1,000 armies. Suddenly, a heavy crashing sound rang out in the air. The crashing sound made everyone's heart beat faster, wanting to leap out of their chests. Yin Feng felt like he was in a bloody battlefield amid thousands of soldiers as Xiao Chun swung his saber. He wanted to use this saber strike to chop apart thousands of soldiers and sweep away the boundless dust, breaking the stars. Then, when the saber light was about to chop down, Xiao Chun gently pulled back the saber tip. The aura of breaking 1,000 armies was completely absorbed into the saber tip. Starlight filled the sky, and the saber tip became boundlessly resplendent. It gave off a light even more dazzling than the stars, flickering among the stars in the universe. It seemed like this move of the saber could sweep away the clouds for 5,000 kilometers around and destroy the stars in the universe. This startled Yin Feng. Suddenly, he could not keep up with Xiao Chen's change in moves. In other words, Xiao Chen used his startling talent in the saber Dao to forcefully take the lead by one move. Breaking the world, breaking 1,000 armies, breaking the stars, breaking the world. After stacking 2 moves, Xiao Chun changed his move to breaking the world and chopped down, while Yin Feng's expression changed to one of shock. When the saber descended, it was like a lone knight galloping alone, carrying a momentum that could sweep through the world. Xiao Chen pointed at Yin Feng's initial opening. "I admit defeat." While he was surprised and bewildered, Yin Feng suddenly gave up resisting and shouted loudly. Buzz! The saber that swept through the world suddenly stopped when it was about 2 centimeters away from Yin Feng's opening. The saber trembled continuously, buzzing endlessly. The saber intent that Xiao Chun emitted spread out in the surroundings. Yin Feng's heart pounded heavily. He wanted to say something. Pa! Xiao Chun raised his saber horizontally and slapped Yin Feng's face, sending him flying. After he landed on the ground, he bounced off into the distance. On the mountain path of Mount Inquiring, countless people were watching this scene in the open and in the dark. Who could have imagined that a profound Light Temple true inheritor would end up in such a state when facing Xiao Chun? Everyone could see the situation of the match very clearly. When Yin Feng admitted defeat, anyone with a discerning eye could see the reason behind it. Only by admitting defeat could Yin Feng survive. After Xiao Chun attacked with his saber, his inconspicuous flaw became a fatal flaw after Xiao Chun changed his moves continuously. This was a fatal opening that Xiao Chun had forcefully created with his exquisite saber techniques. If Xiao Chun struck Yin Feng, he would definitely be crippled. Although everyone could tell that Yin Feng had left behind so many openings because of his carelessness, it was not easy to tell. However, everyone knew that even if he hadn't been careless, it was only a matter of time before he was defeated by Xiao Chun. There was no other reason other than the fact that the saber art was simply unbelievable and superb. Damn, he can't be that person, right? Who? It's that mysterious expert that spread through the various sects, the top core disciple of the Black Cave Mountain's divine firmament sect. I heard that this bladesman defeated him in one move right in front of Shangwan Lei. That is really possible. He happens to be from the Purple Flame sect, and his saber techniques happen to be startling. Furthermore, we are not familiar with him. There are too many coincidences. This is the truth. Immediately, startled cries rang out. The person who dared to anger Shangwan Lei into trembling but did not dare to make a move was the idol of many people. Who would have thought that they would meet here? It's you. As Yin Feng lay on the ground, he revealed an expression of relief when he heard everyone's discussion. Yin Feng had heard of the Black Cave Mountain's mysterious bladesman as well. However, he had not taken it seriously. Yin Feng was very clear on what kind of person Shangwan Lei was. He did not believe that a nameless nobody would force Shangwan Lei into not daring to make a move. There had to be more to the story. However, after exchanging moves with Xiao Chun, Yin Feng started to believe it. The white-robed bladesman before him might not be without trump cards that even Shangwan Lei feared. I'm not being merciful with this saber strike. The venerable Xian Bei once saved my life, so I will not kill someone from the profound Light Temple. However, if you keep mocking me, don't blame me for being merciless. Xiao Chan snorted coldly as he looked at Yin Feng, not saying anything more. He had always been decisive when it came to killing. This Yin Feng had already crossed his bottom line. If it were someone else, even if that person begged for mercy, Xiao Chan would still chop down his saber. However, since the other party was from the profound Light Temple and chose to admit defeat, Xiao Chan could spare his life. However, there was only one chance. If there was a second time, Xiao Chan would not be polite. After a while, Yang Qing looked at Xiao Chan with a strange expression. No matter what, she could not have imagined it. Xiao Chan would be the person who charged into the Divine Firmament sect and was viewed as a legend by the many inner sect disciples of the Purple Flame sect. Yang Qing's first impression was that she had always thought that Xiao Chan had become the servant of a true inheritor. Furthermore, because she was too familiar with Xiao Chan, she had never thought that Xiao Chan was the mysterious bladesman who fought with Shang Wanlei. Yang Qing looked at Xiao Chan and said seriously, "Young Master Xiao, you really hid yourself deeply." Xiao Chan smiled helplessly. "I have never hidden anything from you. I already said from the start that I came to find my senior brother. It is just that you did not believe me. However, my senior brother is indeed Senior Yi Zifeng. He is fully capable of obtaining a spot for me." Right after Yang Qing spoke, Xiao Chan paused for a moment before continuing, "You, on the other hand, have been hiding very deeply. Even now, I cannot see through you." Yang Qing appeared slightly startled, somewhat surprised. Xiao Chan smiled and said, "Back on the ship, I already paid attention to you. At that time, I thought that I already saw through you. Only now do I realize that I cannot see through you completely, never before. However, what does that matter? I only need to remember that you once shielded me without any hesitation. That is enough." Chapter 1685. When Xiao Chan came out, he would definitely have a stock of the Buddhist sect's strange plant. Xiao Chan suspected that he had run into a mutated black iron demonic ape. "I can't care anymore. If it is not mature, so be it. It is better than someone else taking it away." The white-clad monk was none other than the Black Lotus Church's holy son, Ming Xian. Right now, he had another identity, Yin Shi, a newly advanced disciple of the profound Light Temple. He was like a pool of lightning, shocking the various ferocious beasts in the forest. Peak Major Primal Core. "Young Master Xiao, how did you escape unharmed?" People like Shang Wanlei, Zhen Yuan, and Wang Yuanming definitely would not come. They would definitely go to a land of greater fortuitous encounters. After a loud sound, frost covered that black iron demonic ape's entire body. Yang Qing's peak palm strike knocked it back into the forest. The two smiled at each other and continued heading for the summit. Yin Feng's strength could not be considered at the peak among the true inheritors of the three blessed lands, but there was no need to underestimate him. Even if he could not rank in the top 10, he could still make it into the top 30. This seemingly simple action actually exhausted a lot of mental and physical strength. Fortunately, he did not disappear completely. I can still sense his general direction. After Xiao Chun and Yang Qing went far away, the group of monks from the Patala Mountain gathered together again. With one final leap, a faint purple flame covered Xiao Chen's entire body as he dodged that black iron demonic ape strike. Then, he landed firmly and heaved a sigh of relief. Based on this trend, it really might be possible. Even senior brother, Yin, was defeated by him. Who else could stop him? When Xiao Chun looked over, he saw a black wall appear. When he looked up, he discovered that it was a 30-meter-tall, black, iron, demonic ape. Right after the figure vanished, this black, iron, demonic ape smashed the tree that Xiao Chun had just stood on in a powder with one palm strike. Bang! When Xiao Chun turned his head back, he saw a horrifying scene. The black iron demonic ape had actually followed him silently, right above him. "Young Master Xiao, are you all right?" Yang Qing's complexion paled somewhat, and her voice sounded somewhat weak. Clearly, the rebound from her earlier palm strike made her feel somewhat uncomfortable. Just as Xiao Chun was about to make his move, a few voices suddenly rang out in unison. Waves of righteous qi spread out in all directions and soared into the sky. Xiao Chun, who was fully focused on fleeing, felt a little tired after a short while. Damn it! How did this black iron demonic ape manage to hide its aura so well with such agility? The black lotus mark on Xiao Qin's body was now immeasurably weak because he had taken the snow lotus. Strange, the black lotus mark left by Master has become so weak. However, this Yin Feng seemed to have forgotten Xiao Qin's final warning. If there was a next time, he would not be lenient. There's no rush. My senior brother Jin Xian will come later. We already made an agreement. At that time, my senior brother will definitely be able to take down this white-robed bladesman. This was something that could only be done after one's control over one's strength had reached the pinnacle. Xiao Qin's heart sank. He knew that he had guessed correctly. This was a mutated black iron demonic ape. The black iron demonic ape was crystalline and flawless. The holy Sun Ming Xian, who originally thought that after entering the fiendish demon battlefield, he could easily find Xiao Chun by sensing the black lotus mark. The holy Sun Ming Xian entered a berserk state, and the ice on his body fell off. Unyielding might. To the people of the Buddhist sect, no one could endure Xiao Chun monopolizing so many strange flowers and herbs. How terrifying! Young Master Xiao, be careful. Every time Xiao Chun dodged, he would be in danger. This mutated black iron demonic ape was ridiculously strong. Even if there were no other reasons, Xiao Chun would not be willing to fight with such a ferocious beast. It would not end well. He just knew that this earth and fire golden lotus would not be that easy to obtain. Xiao Chun took out a brocade box and carefully moved his body. Just as he put away the earth and fire golden lotus, he sensed a dangerous aura. The most important thing was that it was extremely rare. It could not grow on a large scale like the white jasmine flower. The earth and fire golden lotus had very high environmental requirements. It could only grow in special places. It's fine. I trust you. Whoosh. However, the expression of Yang Qing, who was at the side, changed drastically. Her fine black hair suddenly turned white, and the surrounding temperature plummeted. White snow drifted in the air. However, it did not seem like it had truly matured yet. Xiao Qin did not dare to face it head-on in the depths of this forest. Who knew what other monstrous, ferocious beasts would come? Xiao Qin nodded. That was truly dangerous earlier. That black iron demonic ape's movement technique was simply too agile. As it leaped, it did not make a sound. This was simply incredible. The mountain path was an absolutely safe zone. Along the way, no ferocious beasts dared to come here. Inside Buddha-seeking mountain, the black lotus mark was weak, appearing and disappearing at times. This made it very difficult for Xiao Chun to determine Xiao Qin's position. Fortunately, the mountain path was already not far away. Xiao Qin's strength was definitely not just at the early stage major primal core realm. It might even be at the peak major primal core realm. Earth and fire golden lotus. Xiao Chun revealed an expression of joy. The earth and fire golden lotus was one of the 6 flowers of the 5 trees and 6 flowers, one grade higher than the white jasmine flower. When cultivating in the Buddhist sect, one's Buddha heart was extremely important. It was helpful in comprehending the various ancient Buddhist scriptures and strengthening one's wisdom. Many Buddhist sect martial techniques even had a direct requirement on one's Buddha heart. If one's Buddha heart was not strong, the might of the Buddhist sect martial techniques would be weakened. Relying on the new fish dragon art movement technique, Xiao Chun dashed wildly, dodging the various attacks of this black iron demonic ape. On the mountain path, Xiao Chun and Yang Qing continued walking leisurely. Occasionally, the Buddhist Sorora beads would sense something, and Xiao Chun would enter the forest. The strange flowers and herbs of this Buddha-seeking mountain all had the effect of strengthening one's Buddha heart. When they reached a certain level, they would undergo a qualitative change. Yin Feng sincerely felt that he was inferior to Xiao Chun. However, it was impossible for him to give up on the strange flowers and herbs of this Buddha-seeking mountain, especially the white jasmine flower, one of the 5 trees and 6 flowers. Xiao Chun gently pushed off with his feet and leaped up, vanishing from a tree branch. The golden lotus petals had not even opened yet. It was like a shy girl covering her face with her hands. At some point in time, it had silently landed in front of Yanfeng. This mutated black, iron demonic ape actually ignored the taboo and crossed the mountain path. For Shao Chun to defeat Yanfeng, it was sufficient for him to dominate this Buddha-seeking mountain. After all, he was a true peak true inheritor. He would go to the 10,000 flower garden, the 10,000 weapon pavilion, and the 10,000 book pavilion. Suddenly, the black iron demonic ape's aura soared, instantly reaching a horrifying level. This startled Shao Chun and Yang Qing at the same time. Just as Shao Chun was about to say something, an intense roar suddenly rang out. The 30-meter-long demonic ape in the forest stood up again. At this moment, on a slope some distance away from the Buddha-seeking mountain, a white-clad monk frowned heavily, revealing a confused expression. "Senior Brother Yin, what should we do? Are we just going to watch him collect all the strange flowers and herbs of this Buddha-seeking mountain?" This time, Yang Qing was truly shocked. As she looked at Shao Chen's sincere gaze, she remained silent for a while before saying, "Thank you. However, there is definitely no conflict of interest between us. After I obtain something from the back mountain of the Buddha-seeking platform, I will leave." Shao Chen's face sank, and his body shifted back a few steps. Then, he soared into the air and landed on a tree branch. Bang! This time, the Buddhist Sarira pearls sensed something again. Shao Chun followed the feeling and discovered a golden lotus flower that looked like it was burning with flames. The holy Sun Ming Xian looked in the direction of the Buddha-seeking mountain, and a light flashed in his eyes. In the next moment, his figure vanished. Every time Shao Chun leaped up, he had to make precise calculations and use his full power before he could dodge that black iron demonic ape's attack. It was soundless and didn't make any sound. Yang Qing's palms striking the air looked like a beam of flowing light amid the snowflakes filling the air. In the time it took for a spark to fly, the snowflakes in the air released motes of light. Chapter 1686. The Holy Words of the Confucian Tao, Unyielding Might. With a few shouts, 4 figures landed before Shao Chun and Yang Qing with a vast and boundless aura that was as heavy as a mountain. The leader was dressed like a scholar. He had a fair face and no facial hair, exuding a scholarly air. At this moment, the 4 arrived with their swords in hand. Their scholarly air turned into a righteous air. Their expressions were resolute, and their eyes shone with an unparalleled sharpness. Their auras soared infinitely. In the blink of an eye, they reached the aura of a peak major primal core cultivator. Shao Chun entered deep thought. This unyielding might was somewhat similar to his deity's descending. Similarly, it raised one's aura and strength for a short time. However, this unyielding might merged with the righteous air of the Confucian Tao. It was much better than deities descending alone. The 4 each sent out a sword strike. Sword chi surged out, shaking mountains and rivers as they struck the black iron demonic ape. Boom! Space trembled, and that black iron demonic ape's unparalleled aura was forcefully suppressed. Under these 4 sword strikes, it was knocked back. Apart from the leader of the group, the other 3 paled and gasped for breath as they slashed out with unstoppable might. However, the pale-faced scholar sent out several sword flowers in the air. His sword moved like it was a go, and his sword moved like it was a ghost stone. Metallic clangs rang out crisply and crisply. Great sword technique. Shao Chun could not help praising softly as he watched, entranced. The other party's sword technique was truly exquisite. His sword moved like it was a ghost stone, and he used it like a god. He used all sorts of sword moves as he pleased, not sticking to a single pattern. It looked like a random combination, but in reality, every move contained deep meaning. Every time he sent out a sword move, it was a setup. When the 10 moves were over and the setup was set, that pale-faced scholar sheathed his sword and slowly landed. As Shao Chun slowly descended, a trembling sound came from the air. Some of the previously unremarkable sword techniques suddenly exploded out. These sword moves gathered into a resplendent sword light and left a basin-sized wound on the black iron demonic ape's chest. Blood spurted out like a fountain. The demonic black iron ape's ferocity didn't diminish despite its severe injuries. However, it stopped for a moment and roared a few times before choosing to flee back into the forest. After confirming that the black iron demonic ape had truly gone far away, the pale-faced scholar led his three companions over to Xiao Chun and Yang Qing. Xiao Chun remained calm and collected, waiting to see what this group of people wanted to do. Although the demonic black iron ape was powerful enough to appear in the saber Dao, Xiao Chun did not need the help of others. Initially, it was only because they had not expected the black iron demonic ape to appear. Furthermore, the black iron demonic ape's ability to conceal its aura was superb, so they did not notice it. However, since Yang Qing made a move and helped him gain some time to catch his breath, escaping would not be a problem. Even without the help of the four, Xiao Chun could still solve the problem in front of him, so he didn't feel particularly grateful. Most importantly, Xiao Chun felt that the four of them were not simply helping him. It felt like they were deliberately showing off their strength. Many thanks to the four of you for helping me. I did not ask for your guidance, Xiao Chun said as he stepped forward and performed a cupped fist salute. Young Master Xiao is too polite. Even if we did not make a move, young Master Xiao would have dealt with it. I am Wang Su, and these three are my junior brothers. We are all from the Confucian Institution. The pale-faced scholar was rather honest and did not put on airs of taking credit for himself. The Confucian Institution? What is your relationship with Wang Yueming? Xiao Chun asked softly, feeling excited. At the mention of Wang Yueming, pride flashed in the eyes of the other Confucian Institution disciples. They said, "That is my senior brother. We are all disciples of the same teacher." However, senior brother Wang went to a forbidden land. A forbidden land, Yang Qing exclaimed. However, she soon felt relieved. That's right. As one of the three great geniuses, Wang Yueming is indeed qualified to enter a forbidden land. Wang Su smiled and looked at Xiao Chun. Then he said seriously, "Let's not talk about this for now. Young Master Xiao, what do you think of our strength?" After thinking for a while, Xiao Chun answered honestly, "Very strong. If we work together, I would not be able to deal with them easily. This is especially so for young Master Wang. Your sword skills are a great eye-opener. Your sword moves are like Go, and your moves are casual and relaxed, not sticking to one pattern. However, when you reap the harvest, you are swift and decisive. You kill decisively and efficiently." Clearly, Wang Su was very happy to receive such an evaluation from Xiao Chun. He smiled humbly and said, "It is not worth mentioning. Compared to young Master Zhao's saber skills, I am still much weaker. Young Master Xiao, why is this person so long-winded and wishy-washy? Even now, I still do not know what he wants to do." Yang Qing's voice rang out in Xiao Chen's mind. He smiled and replied, "There is no rush. The people of the Confucian sect are just like that." After chatting idly for a while, Wang Su said, "We all saw young Master Zhao's battle with that profound light temple monk. Actually, if you want to go to the Buddha-seeking platform, there's no need to ally with that group of monks. The righteous chi of our Confucian sect also has a strong suppressive effect on fiendish demons. That black iron demonic ape earlier was a fiendish spirit ape. However, when it faced our Confucian sect sword techniques, it was still forced to flee." Xiao Qin now understood. The righteous chi and the Buddhist sect's Buddhist might were indeed similar on a certain level. At the same time, Xiao Chun understood the intentions of the other four. They wanted to work with him to go to the Buddha-seeking platform. "Brother Wang Su, do you want to work together and go to the Buddha-seeking platform together?" Wang Su nodded and said, "The Buddha-seeking platform is not simple. The fiendish demons in the temples are all intelligent, no different from us. Furthermore, they are already used to the pressure of the fiendish demon battlefield. With the same cultivation realm, the strength they can bring out is stronger than ours. After coming to the fiendish demon battlefield, everyone, including Xiao Chun, had their strength suppressed. It was just a matter of how much. Young Master Xiao saw our strength earlier. What do you think? Do you want to go to the Buddha-seeking platform together?" Wang Su revealed a confident expression, feeling very confident in his invitation. Xiao Chun exchanged glances with Yang Qing. Then he said, I'll discuss this with my companion first. The two walked to the side and communicated via voice projection. Xiao Chun said, Miss Yang, I do not care what you think. I am already very satisfied with the natural treasures in the forest. Right now, we just need to go to the Buddha-seeking platform and take a look at those ancient Buddha statues. That will be enough. Xiao Chen's goal was very firm. It was to improve his Buddha nature and strengthen the Mahamaya abstinence violation saber technique. Everything else was just a bonus. Yang Qing entered deep thought. I don't mind either. However, young Master Xiao, don't be fooled by the benevolent appearance of that Confucian institution disciple. Xiao Chun looked at the other party in shock. This Yang Qing seemed to have a grudge against the people of the Confucian institution. She had not shown such an expression when facing that group of bald donkeys earlier. After the discussion, Xiao Chun felt confident and slowly walked over. How was it? What's the result of the discussion? Wang Su asked. Sure. However, if there are any gains along the way, the two of us want 60%. You can only get 40%. In that case, wouldn't the four of us each get only 10%? A Confucian institution disciple immediately expressed his dissatisfaction. Wang Su's lips twitched slightly. He smiled embarrassedly and said, Young Master Xiao, we are very sincere. In any case, it did not matter. Actually, Xiao Chun could have been more ruthless. 60% or 40% was already a more sincere proposal. That's all then. Goodbye. Since the other party felt that Xiao Chun was not sincere, there was no point in continuing the conversation. So, Xiao Chun waved his hand and took his leave with Yang Qing. Damn it, Big Brother Wang Su, this so-called white-robed bladesman is really shameless. We helped him out of goodwill, and he actually demanded such a high price. How infuriating. He is simply looking down on the people of our Confucian institution. Elder Brother Wang Su, there is no need to be polite with him. We could just snatch whatever he has on him. Seeing Xiao Chun go far away, the people of the Confucian institution all expressed their dissatisfaction. Wang Su showed an uncertain expression, rage flashing in his eyes. Aside from Xiao Chen's strength, Wang Su sought to work with Xiao Chun because of the mysterious item that Xiao Chun had on him. Wang Su guessed that Xiao Chun definitely had some treasure with a deep connection to Buddhism. Otherwise, he could not have gained so much in this Buddha-seeking mountain. However, Wang Su was not confident of making a move on Xiao Chun. Based on the girl beside Xiao Chun, she did not seem to be an ordinary person. Just as Wang Su was at a loss for what to do, a group of people rushed over from below. When he looked up, he saw Yin Feng, whom Xiao Chun defeated earlier, leading a profound light temple disciple towards the summit. The Imperial Light Temple's Zhen Xian. Wang Su immediately revealed a smile on his face. He said indifferently, There will come a time when you beg me. Chapter 1687. There seems to be no path in front. After taking their leave of Wang's group of four, Xiao Chun and Yang Qing continued along the mountain path. Finally, they arrived at the end of the mountain path. There was no path in front, only a tall and precipitous cliff. The Buddha-seeking mountain's peak was on the cliff, the Buddha-seeking platform. The only way to get to the Buddha-seeking platform was to fly up in one go. However, the spiritual energy in this fiendish demon battlefield was boundlessly vast, mixed with the ubiquitous fiendish qi. The space here was much larger than that of a blessed land. Aside from this, there was also a fiendish qi mixed with Buddhist might, looking exceptionally strange. Jumping up here was extremely difficult. Many sect disciples gathered here. As they looked at the 3-kilometer-tall cliff, they all frowned and shook their heads. For now, no one was willing to try. When Xiao Chun and Yang Qing arrived, they did not act rashly. Instead, they calmly observed their surroundings. It should not be a problem for me to jump up. The difficult part is what I will face after I jump up. After carefully looking around, Xiao Chun had a rough idea. However, he did not know what the Buddha-seeking platform looked like or what fiendish demons were inside. Clearly, Yang Qing came prepared. She said, There is a huge temple on the Buddha-seeking platform. After jumping up, you will see the temple gates. The temple has the most fiendish demons of varying strength. The strongest is a tree spirit. I heard that it is a distant sea realm cultivator. Of course, that is news from 20 years ago. I do not know if it is still accurate. A tree spirit was not easy to deal with. A tree spirit that became a tree spirit would have a lifespan of at least 1,000 years. Furthermore, it occupied this Buddhist-seeking platform and gained a Buddhist heart, gaining intelligence. It will be even harder to deal with. Doesn't that mean that there is no way to go up? With a Cloud Sea fiendish demon guarding the Buddhist-seeking platform, one would die if they went up. How could they possibly go up? Yang Qing smiled and said, "How can that be? No matter what, this fiendish demon battlefield is a place where the divine vein powerhouses pass down their skills in the end. The fiendish demons will not truly take the initiative. Even if they die, the will they leave behind will formlessly restrict the fiendish demon battlefield." Think about it. If there were no restrictions, how could the Cloud Sea experts of the outside world not enter? Xiao Chun understood something. You mean to say that the tree spirit might not make a move personally, but it would be hard to avoid some sort of test? Passing the test left behind by the divine vein powerhouse is the key to obtaining the fortuitous encounter. Yang Qing nodded. That's right. Who is Xiao Chun? Come out. Just as the two of them were discussing, a loud shout suddenly came from the foot of the mountain. It contained Buddhist mantras. The simple sentence caused everyone's eardrums to tremble and their souls to tremble. Many of them even bled from their nostrils and ears. The Buddhist sect's guardian deity, Lion Roar. It's the profound light temple's people. Yang Qing's expression changed slightly as she looked down. She saw Yin Feng, whom Xiao Chun had defeated earlier, leading a square-faced monk in yellow monk robes. They quickly leaped up and ran over. Zhen Xian. When they saw the square-faced monk, many people immediately revealed shocked expressions. Zhen Xian was a true inheritor of the profound light temple, one of the top 10 true inheritors of the entire profound light temple. His strength was exceptionally terrifying. It was common knowledge that because Buddhist disciples had a solid foundation, their cultivation grew the slowest. Most of them were not famous in the early stages, but once they reached the later stages, their strength would be stronger than their peers. This was the case for the strongest person of the three blessed lands, Zhen Yuan, who suppressed Shangguan Lei and Wang Yueming. Although this Zhen Xian could not compare to Zhen Yuan, he was still one of the top 10 true inheritors of the entire profound light temple. Even among the three blessed lands, he could be considered a peak existence among the true inheritors. The crowd was shocked because they had not expected someone of Zhen Xian's status to come to Buddhist-seeking mountain, a land of fortuitous encounters that was not considered popular. After a while, everyone understood and focused their gazes on Xiao Chun. They all revealed expressions of understanding. It turned out that Zhen Xian was here to take revenge for their junior brother. Earlier, Yin Feng had been in a sorry state when he lost to Xiao Chun. You sure came fast, Xiao Chun thought to himself. Then, he stepped forward and said calmly, I am Xiao Chun. What can I do for you? I am looking for you. Obediently hand over the Buddhist prayer beads and the Buddhist sect wondrous items in your hands. Zhen Xian charged over with a ferocious momentum, not caring about Xiao Chun at all. Right after he spoke, he charged at Xiao Chun. Zhen Xian clenched his hands into claws and spread his arms, looking like a divine eagle soaring into the sky. His entire body shone with golden light, giving off heavy Buddhist might. As Zhen Xian flew toward Xiao Chun, the cry of a divine eagle rang out in the air. He frowned heavily and sent a claw down. Immediately, a gigantic eagle claw formed by veritable essence energy appeared, clawing at Xiao Chun. A boundless suction came from the claw, kicking up sand and pebbles on the ground as a strong wind howled. Whoosh! Whoosh! When the surrounding crowd felt this suction, they exclaimed and quickly scattered, afraid of getting caught up in the crossfire. How arrogant! Xiao Chun's face sank as he shouted coldly. The 7 deadly sins merged into one, and great Tao energy spread out. Instantly, he stood firmly on the ground, unmoving like a mountain. Just as the gigantic eagle claw was about to strike, the saber strike, containing great Tao energy, turned into the dragon's subduing slash and sent out a berserk chop. Boom! Space trembled. The short exchange between the two created a terrifying shockwave that surged out. Xiao Chun leaped up, looking like a treasure, saber being unsheathed. He executed the army-breaking saber technique, forcefully clashing head-on with Zhen Xian. The army-breaking saber technique focused on the word break. It required an indomitable courage. Even if one faced a vast army, one dared to wield their saber and charge forward, killing them all. Zhen Xian's divine eagle claw was extraordinary as well. His body was like a divine eagle. As he moved, he kicked up a boundless strong wind. Zhen Xian's 5 fingers were as hard as divine metal. As he moved, he gave off a startling Buddhist might. Dang! Dang! After 10 moves, the two were evenly matched. Zhen Xian's initial burst of aura could not increase his advantage, so it slowly weakened. Left with no choice, he soared into the air and returned to the ground. The moment Zhen Xian's feet touched the ground, his 5 fingers turned into a palm. Then, he thrust a palm at Xiao Chun. Xiao Chun, who was in the air, immediately felt the surrounding space twist. A palm radiating Buddhist light headed for him unhurriedly. Break! Regardless of whether it was real or fake, Xiao Chun could not make out what this palm strike was. He raised his saber and executed the flawless saber technique's heaven-swallowing stance. All sorts of mysterious phenomena shot out from Xiao Chun's body. Just as that palm strike was about to arrive, he swung his saber and swallowed it all up. Instantly, Xiao Chun felt his entire body swell up uncomfortably, as if he would explode. The Taiji Yin-Yang veritable essence diagram in Xiao Chun's dantian spun rapidly. Light and shadows danced in the surroundings, forming an even larger Taiji diagram that merged with the surroundings. Go! After barely suppressing the other party's palm strike, Xiao Chun drew his saber again, mixing the other party's palm strike into his saber light and sending it to Zhen Xian. Damn it! Caught off guard, Zhen Xian forced out 100% of his strength. A terrifying Buddhist might burst out, making everyone's hearts tremble. Zhen Xian punched and shattered the palm strike and saber light. However, his body was forced back 10 steps before he could stabilize himself. His expression turned sullen. Senior brother, Yin Feng paled in shock. He had not expected that even when his senior brother made a move, he would not be able to gain much of an advantage. Facing the other party's full-powered, surging Buddhist might, Xiao Chun held his saber horizontally in front of him and barely blocked it. However, he still took 3 steps back. Zhen Xian truly lived up to being one of the top 10 true inheritors of the profound Light Temple. Even in the 3 blessed lands, he would rank within the top 10. Although Zhen Xian could not do anything to Xiao Chun did not want to face such a terrifying opponent who used his full power, either. In the end, both sides would end up severely injured. Zhen Xian held the advantage in cultivation and physical body, so he might have the last laugh. It was not wise to clash head-on with Zhen Xian now. At the very least, he had to wait until he broke through first. Let's go. With a thought, Xiao Chun stopped wasting time. He grabbed Yang Qing's hand and soared into the air, flying towards the Buddhist-seeking platform. Wang Su, who rushed over, happened to see this scene and could not help being startled. Unexpectedly, Xiao Chun managed to escape so easily from Zhen Xian's hands. Wang Su was still waiting for the other party to truly fall into danger so that he could help and bargain. When Zhen Xian saw Xiao Chun soar into the air, he immediately became enraged. You want to leave? Scram down here. Zhen Xian roared, and a gargantuan divine eagle claw descended from the sky. It tore through the clouds and headed for Xiao Chun and Yang Qing, who were in the air. The range of the gargantuan claw did not give anyone a chance to dodge. It looked like it would grab Xiao Chun and Yang Qing to death. Xiao Chun smiled faintly. His figure flashed, and he executed Dermic World. Then, a saber light chopped into the sky. The saber light directly chopped off the divine eagle's gargantuan claw, and fell to the ground. Blood leaked out of a corner of Zhan Xian's lips. When he saw the descending divine eagle claw, he quickly dodged with yin foam. The area below turned chaotic. No one dared to linger, fleeing in all directions. Chapter 1688. However, it was clearly not wise to face Xiao Chun. However, Zhan Xian, who was the easiest to go up, closed his eyes and rested, not moving blindly. The words on the signboard were already illegible. Xiao Chun sent out a palm strike, and the doors rumbled, shaking for a while. However, they did not open. Furthermore, Zhan Xian was still waiting for them when they returned. The distribution of benefits was also in his favor. There was no need for Xiao Chun to reject it. When the group looked ahead, it was as Yang Qing said, an ancient, modeled temple. The group was led by a cat demon into the mysterious and ancient temple of the Buddha Inquiry Platform. Hovering above the temple was the gigantic head of a female Buddha statue. Floating above the temple, it was exceptionally frightening. Magic skills were left behind by the Buddhist Taoist sect in the previous epoch. In this epoch, the Buddhist sect had returned to zero. The Buddha ancestor was the Mahayana, revered Buddha. Xiao Chen shook his head and said, "How could they be killed so easily?" The fiendish demons in the temple probably heard the strange movements at the foot of the Buddha-seeking mountain and sensed it long ago. They were just waiting for us. The two blackbirds that left earlier should be the fiendish demons in human form or their true form. Our movements should have already been exposed. Soon, fiendish demon experts will rush over. Allying with this group of people would be a great help to Xiao Chun, who was about to enter the temple and still had a guard against Zhan Xian. The few Confucian institution disciples at the back could not take it anymore. Wang Tzu did his best to calm down. He said, "Good, 73 it is. In that case, we will swear an alliance with the will left behind by the divine vein powerhouses in this fiendish demon battlefield." Xiao Chun said sullenly as he looked down. Xiao Chen's earlier saber strike traced back to the source. Not only did it break Wang Tzu's divine eagle claw, but it also chopped off the consciousness and soul that Wang Tzu had attached to it. Wang Tzu's physical body was not injured, but his soul was significantly injured. In such a state, he could still ascend the Buddha-seeking platform. Wang Tzu's face sank, immediately turning unsightly. He smiled embarrassedly and said, "Brother Xiao, there is no need to do this. Zhan Xian will recover from his injuries very quickly. If we work with him." "What is that?" "Wait a minute." Xiao Chen looked at Wang Tzu. Wang Tzu was a true inheritor of the Confucian institution and had stayed in the Blessed Lands longer than Xiao Chun. Wang Tzu should know a little more. A young girl in white walked out. She had a pair of furry cat ears on her head, and her wild appearance carried a hint of cuteness. "Let's enter the temple first. Without going through a life-and-death battle, there's no way to obtain any fortuitous encounters. This situation, I don't understand either." The Buddhist sects of the martial epoch could not cultivate magic skills, only martial arts. After making their vows, the estrangement between them lessened a little. After all, they were now on the same boat. The two black birds let out strange cries and flapped their wings as they flew into the temple. In the sky, Xiao Chun dispersed his dermic world and gently leaped with Yang Qing, landing firmly on the ground. Wang Tzu and the others immediately felt like they were facing a great enemy, their right hands grasping their swords. Just look at you, hiding your thoughts and pretending to be magnanimous. No matter how good your swordsmanship is, your awe-inspiring righteousness can't be that high. I don't need to be afraid of you at all. If you want to work together with Zhan Xian, I'll kill you now." Zhan Xian did not think about anything else for now. He sat down and meditated, quickly recovering from the injuries to his soul. "What's going on? This seems different from what I expected. A fiendish demon took the initiative to bring me to seek fortuitous encounters. Did I hear wrong?" Wang Tzu's group was not the only ones who saw an opportunity. The other sect disciples, who had been waiting for a long time, also took action, soaring into the air. This kicked up a boundless cloud of dust that spread in all directions, making everyone cough endlessly. Suddenly, Xiao Chun saw something startling him. When Xiao Chun and the others heard that, they exchanged glances, revealing surprised expressions. Xiao Chun gave those two black birds a strange look. Just as he wanted to do something, he discovered that the black birds had already disappeared, so he could only give up. Amid a loud sound, the huge eagle claw, filled with spirituality and Buddhist might, suddenly descended. Furthermore, didn't they say that fiendish demons were tyrannical and inhumane? Wang Su stretched out his hand and scattered the dust. Peering through it, he vaguely saw two figures landing behind the cliff and ascending the Buddhist-seeking platform. Seeing Xiao Chen's trump card, Wang Su made up his mind. Only by following Xiao Chun could he truly gain something. An oath to the will of the Buddhist-seeking platform was very restrictive. No one dared to mess around. When Xiao Chun looked up, he saw that the sky was dark with dark clouds covering it. Not far away, a stone stele stood with 3 ancient Buddhist characters written on it. Brother Xiao, I've thought it through. We should still form an alliance. You guys get 6, and we get 4. Wang Su shook his head. Don't look at me. I don't know what's going on, either. In the past, a senior brother who survived came out and said that this temple is very dangerous. This temple is full of danger. If 10 people enter, at least half will die inside. Seeing that Xiao Chun was not willing to say more, Yang Qing did not pursue the matter. She could guess some things in her heart. Kassier. Just as Xiao Chun was about to console Yang Qing and tell her that it was just a misperception, a familiar voice came from behind. The Buddha-seeking platform was not easy to climb. Brother Xiao, earlier it was 6 and 4. Now it's 7 and 3. Xiao Chun looked at Yang Qing at the side and discovered that her expression was strange. The young cat-eared girl muttered to herself. Then, she looked at Xiao Chun and the others and said, "Come on in. I will bring you all to search for fortuitous encounters and show you the way." Xiao Chun took the lead and headed for the temple's doors. Xiao Chen's words were like a sword stabbing into Wang Su's heart, making him feel very uncomfortable. He did not know how to rebut. The young cat-eared girl glanced at Xiao Chun and the others. She did not find this strange. Instead, she sized them up mischievously. "Young Master Xiao, what was that earlier?" Yang Qing's heart pounded heavily. The earlier scene was truly an eye-opener. Yang Qing knew a little about it. The 4 great temples of the Central Great Realm all had similar Buddhist sect secret techniques. Flying in this fiendish demon battlefield was already extremely stressful. Furthermore, this Buddhist-seeking mountain was not low. Furthermore, one had to face the Buddhist might. Wang Su asked seriously as he strode over. In this fiendish demon battlefield, the will of a divine vein powerhouse was everywhere. It was like the heavenly Tao of this small world. As the sky was dark, at first glance, it looked like a cold Buddha's head floating above the temple. Xiao Chen did not explain too much. It's just some trump cards. My cultivation is much weaker than Zhen Xian's. To prevent him from pestering me, I directly used them. The fiendish demon battlefield that opens once every 20 years is open again. Xiao Chan rubbed his eyes vigorously. Only then did he discover that it was just an illusion. The ancient temple's doors were tightly shut. The signboard hung in the air, and 2 small black birds chirped. Xiao Chen smiled coldly and said, "I know what you are thinking. You must be disappointed that you did not see Zhen Xian injure me." The Confucian sect's righteous qi emphasizes openness. No matter what one's thoughts are, one should be open. That female Buddha statue should be standing in the deep abyss behind Buddha, Seeking Mountain. Buddha Seeking Mountain covered her entire body. Only her head could be seen. Right after Zhen Xian spoke, the temple's doors suddenly opened. Fearing that Xiao Chun and Yang Qing would go too far, Zhen Xian led his 3 junior brothers into the air, resisting the pressure from above as they climbed up with much difficulty. When Zhen Xian looked back, it was the heavenly shaking mountains Confucian institution's Wang Su's group walking over with smiles on their faces. Zhen Xian felt suspicious, thinking that Xiao Chun cultivated another secret technique. After all, there are all sorts of strange things in this great thousand realms. Although cultivation techniques and martial techniques that could allow cultivators to grow larger were rare, they did exist. Zhan Xian could vaguely make out the words Buddha seeking platform. Let's go. Why is the secret technique that fellow executed so similar to the major magic skill Dermic world recorded in the Buddhist sect's ancient texts? Wang Su immediately revealed an expression of regret. I was too careless. I should have made a move earlier and killed the two blackbirds. The temple was large and occupied a large area. However, it gave off a death chi that made one uncomfortable. The Confucian Institution's group hesitated for a moment before gritting their teeth and following. After saying that, Wang Su took the lead. Yang Qing did not hesitate to follow. Chapter 1689. The group of 6 stepped into the temple and immediately felt a cold and gloomy aura attacking them. They hurriedly circulated their energy to resist. The cat-eared girl leading the way turned her head to look at Xiao Chun and said, "Don't be surprised. Before the old master was alive, we fiendish demons have been managing this temple. We will carry out a test for the disciples who come here to seek fortuitous encounters. Those who can pass will naturally receive various benefits." "Old master? Which old master?" Xiao Chun asked cautiously. The young cat-eared girl raised her head and said, "Is the divine vein powerhouse that you speak of. Although he did not create this world, when he subdued this fiendish demon battlefield, he naturally became the master of all the fiendish demons. Even though he has been dead for tens of thousands of years, the will he left behind still influences this world. No demon dares to disobey him. Just like the rules, they have to be obeyed. Those who don't will be struck to death by lightning. There are no exceptions." Upon hearing that, Wang Su could not help relaxing significantly. It turned out that these fiendish demons had restrictions as well. He smiled faintly and said, "I understand. However, what I don't understand is that most fiendish demons are violent and hostile to our sect disciples. Why do I get the feeling that you don't have the characteristics of an ordinary demon? Or are all the demons in this place like you?" The young cat-eared girl looked at Wang Su with a strange expression. She said coldly, "To us fiendish demons, most of your sect disciples are tyrannical, not showing any mercy when killing fiendish demons. Every year, there are blind or greedy sect disciples who die on this Buddha-seeking platform." When Wang Su heard this, he immediately felt embarrassed. "Pretend I never asked. Every hall is guarded by fiendish demons. All you need to do is pass the test, and you'll be able to enter. Whether or not you can obtain the treasures in the palace will depend on your own luck." After the cat-eared girl finished speaking, she leaped up gracefully, leaped over a few tall walls, and disappeared from everyone's sight. As Xiao Chun watched her leave, he carefully thought about what the cat-eared girl had said. Wang Su muttered, "It looks like this place is different from what we imagined. It is not as dangerous as it is rumored to be. Young Master Xiao, why don't we split up?" Seeing that this temple was not as scary as rumored, Wang Su and the others immediately thought of something else. He didn't want to travel with Xiao Chun anymore. Xiao Chun said generously, "As you wish. Goodbye." Wang Su and the other 3 revealed smiles. Then, they rushed in with anticipation, preparing to rush to Wise Heart Palace. "Senior brother, where are we going?" "Of course it's the Hall of Wisdom. We need to be quick. Otherwise, when more people arrive, we won't be able to get anything out of it. Damn it. If I had known that this temple had such rules, I wouldn't have given in to Xiao Chen's mood and given him a 30-70 split. Who does he think he is? He even dares to lecture me on how to cultivate righteous energy." Feeling some regret, Wang Su revealed some anger on his face. When he thought of what Xiao Chun said to him, he showed a displeased expression. Only Xiao Chun and Yang Qing remained. Yang Qing said, "Young Master Xiao, what brings you to this Buddha-seeking platform?" Xiao Chun said honestly, "I want to comprehend it. I don't have any requests for the enlightened heart tea or other medicinal pills. Originally, I thought that this place would be an ancient holy land of the Buddhist sect. It looks like I was wrong. What about you?" Yang Qing paused for a while before saying, "I'm here to retrieve something. Now that we are here, it is time to part." Xiao Chen did not probe further. Everyone had their own secrets. He nodded and said, "I'll take my leave here then." Yang Qing glanced at Xiao Chun and smiled bitterly to herself before leaving. As Xiao Chun watched the other party leave, he entered deep thought. Along the way, he had not been able to help Yang Qing much at all. His usefulness to her was negligible, given that this girl was indeed loyal to him. Actually, it did not matter if she came alone. Indeed, Yang Qing only wanted to help him out a little. However, she had not expected Xiao Chun to be so strong. Xiao Chun did not need her help at all. Naturally, he did not need her help. Now that they had arrived at their destination, they had their own things to do. Of course, they had to go their separate ways. With the Buddhist prayer beads in hand, Xiao Chun wandered around the temple aimlessly. The doors of the halls that represented fortuitous encounters were all tightly shut. When Xiao Chun probed with his spiritual sense, he would get bounced back. There was an impenetrable energy protecting him. After opening a door and defeating the fiendish demon guarding it, he could search as he pleased. Of course, the different halls might have other tests aside from the fiendish demon guarding them. Xiao Chun did not care about this. His original purpose was to search for a fate with Buddhism, to see if he could comprehend anything that would be of help to the Mahamaya abstinence violation saber technique. However, a good temple had become so utilitarian. Furthermore, there were fiendish demons residing in it. Xiao Chun did not think that there would be any fate with Buddhism left. Even if there was, it would be tainted by the dust of the world and the filth of the human heart. Hence, Xiao Chun was not in the mood to open any of the doors. However, that did not matter. In any case, he had already obtained plenty of unexpected gains before he came up. With the help of those strange flowers and herbs, his Buddha nature was much stronger than before. Furthermore, his veritable essence energy was cleansed by the white jasmine flower. Furthermore, Xiao Chun obtained an even more precious earthen fire golden lotus. No matter how he looked at it, this trip was worth it. As Xiao Chun casually toyed with the Buddhist Sarura beads in his hand, he entered a different state of mind as he walked through this ancient, dilapidated, sinister temple. His heart was calm, and an invisible Buddhist glow was emitted from his body. Vaguely, it formed a faint connection with the ancient aura in this place. Xiao Chun himself did not feel anything special. He only felt that there was something special about it. He only felt that aside from being cold and dilapidated, everything he saw was the peace of the Buddhist sect. The heart of a pure child, under the hazy moonlight. The young cat-eared girl sitting on the roof revealed a shocked expression as she looked in the direction where Xiao Chun was. Flap, flap, flap. Just at this moment, a black crow flew over and landed on the young cat-eared girl's arm. Someone else is here. The young cat-eared girl's figure flashed, and the doors of the temple suddenly opened. Then, she appeared out of nowhere and walked out. There were many people outside, but the ones leading them were two bald monks. The young cat-eared girl looked around and fixed her gaze on the monk on the left. This was Zhen Xian, who had just finished treating his injuries. Whoosh! The appearance of a young cat-eared girl elicited startled cries. The various sect disciples behind whispered to each other. Like Xiao Chun and Wang Su, they did not know what was going on. However, they did not dare to ask anything. The reason was none other than, with Zhen Xian blocking the way, who dared to interrupt him? That would just be seeking death. Are you here to search for fortuitous encounters? Come in with me. Seeing the young cat-eared girl turn around, Yin Feng asked softly, Senior brother, what's going on? Zhen Xian's expression did not change. He replied indifferently, just go in and take a look and you will know. After saying that, Zhen Xian strode forward and entered the temple. The various sect disciples behind quickly followed, not wanting to fall behind. The young cat-eared girl repeated what she said to Xiao Chen's group, leaving the group of people exchanging glances with each other. Then, she prepared to turn and leave. Wait a moment. Zhen Xian, who had been silent all this time, suddenly spoke up. His gaze locked on the young cat-eared girl, his tone somewhat hostile. Right after Zhen Xian spoke, a formless Buddhist might spread out. Suddenly, it put a huge pressure on everyone. What advice do you have? Zhen Xian asked coldly. Have you seen a white-clad bladesman with a young girl who exudes a cold intent by his side? This is not a question that I should answer, nor is it something you should be concerned about, the young cat-eared girl replied softly without changing her expression. Zhang Xian snorted coldly. Interesting. To think that a lowly fiendish demon like you really thinks of yourself as the master of my Buddhist sect's holy land. Whoosh! Right after Zhang Xian spoke, he executed the killing move that he had been storing up power for a long time in one breath. Zhang Xian spread his 5 fingers into claws. His fingers immediately glowed with a golden light, looking like they were made of metal. Zhang Xian's figure flashed, and a divine eagle bathed in Buddhist light spread its wings and flew up from behind him. This allowed the eagle to move as fast as lightning. It did not even leave an afterimage as it charged over to the young cat-eared girl, preparing to grab her. Who could have imagined that this surefire lightning-fast attack would grab nothing? The young cat-eared girl turned into an exquisite white cat and nimbly dodged. The white cat gently leaped up and landed nimbly on the roof. Then it turned its head to look at Zhang Xian. Then it leaped up a few more times and vanished from everyone's sight. Zhang Xian withdrew his technique, feeling depressed. Then he waved his hand and said, "Little evil creature, you ran fast,